The Proto-Semitic Allah burner down tells us was a black dog represented by a black bull whose hide denoted his black skin.
Here's the picture that he showed on the screen. It's a deity El, the god El. Pay attention to the crown or the headdress, if you will. This is a picture from the front of the same statue, a little closer, and a little bit from the side here. Now, this headdress is actually the atef crown. If you go on Webster's online dictionary, that's what it says. Atef is the specific feathered white crown of the Egyptian deity Osiris. It combines the head jet, the crown of Upper Egypt, with red ostrich feather for the Osiris cult. The Atef crown identifies Osiris in ancient Egyptian painting. If you go to Webster's dictionary, Merriam-Webster, it says Atef, hold on, a tall crown with a long feather on each side, shown in the art of ancient Upper Egypt as worn by Osiris. Okay? Here you can see Osar or Osiris with the Atef crown. This is from the papyrus of Nebket. It's actually in the Louvre Museum, and you can see me filming that papyrus on the video entitled Reality Check. Why black people ain't going nowhere, but you might as well put Afro Style Reality Check, it's gonna come up. And in here, it's also from the Louvre Museum. You have Osiris in the middle with the Atef crown, and the description for it, if you go on the website of the Louvre Museum and you type Royal and Divine Triad, you can do a search and you will see they mention that he is actually wearing the Atef crown. Now finally, you can compare the crowns. Okay, first you have the god of the Arabized Negroes, which first is El, but somehow, some way becomes Allah. But that's up to y'all. That's up to the doctor. And then you have the one that I showed you, Osiris. Then again, from the front, compared with another statue of Osiris, and then finally the same statue from another angle.
Biblical King's Seal discovered in dump site. This is the royal seal of the King Hezekiah, and here we have an ankh. And finally, last but not least, you need to see it to believe it. The God of the Bible, El, slept in his own dung and urine. This is Ugaritic narrative poetry, page 195. And we also have this book here, the Masria in the prophetic literature, where it clearly says that El floundered in his own feces and urine. I hope you're doing well. The title of this video is Burial of Garfield's Dagger Squad. Now, it is still Monday, January 2nd, 2023. As you have seen, the chat is open to everybody, not just the members. And the link has been shared for whoever would like to get on the panel. The only requirement is that you show your face. Now, we have 20 people online. Let us look at the comments so far. We have Peanut King, who wrote that Garfield over there lying all day. We have also, them dudes are soft and weird. We have Lamont Brown, who wrote Gary Garfield links, you're fired. Ferrotis, who wrote, you're back, Hotel. Kinetic Energy wrote RIP Dagger Squad. Peanut King again wrote, I see why they're always getting scammed. They believe anything. Kinetic Energy wrote, salutations to the Saba Shaka. Now, for the record, Seba, S-E-B-A, with our script, I have not yet seen it translated as teacher. If somebody is aware of that, let me know which dictionary. The Ferretist wrote, dang. Peanut King wrote RIP Dagger Squad full of Fruit Loops, Fruit Loops, and we have JMO X who wrote Unc Uja Celeb. Now, there's the live stream on our brother Smash Rockwell, and V Bennett wrote, they're trying to hocus pocus on people. Now, one thing is clear is that despite all the excuses and the emotionalism that was attempted, it is safe to say that except for the groupie uh, Dagger Squad followers, the majority of people don't believe all the stuff that's been said. The majority of people don't buy what was said. What really surprised me is that the female cat Garfield went on Smash Rockwell's platform and he talked about rescheduling the debate. Can you imagine, brothers and sisters? Rescheduling the debate is over. The debate is over. Now, set the record straight, Road. Um, we at Fope would like to interview you, my brother. Well, share the link to the channel, to the YouTube account, and let me see. I don't mean to sound condescending or holier than thou, but if it's a channel that doesn't have that much subscribers, I don't know. But what I like, however, is for people to come here first, and then I see, and then I make a decision. Sanetta gave me the honor of coming on my platform, so I went on his as a guest. Imhotep 360 wrote, Hotep Shaka in the chat, Garfield and his pseudo squad is exposed. The Pharaohist wrote, I don't believe it. Peanut King wrote, Shaka, Garfield is scared of you. He's not the only one. And we have Ororisha 504 Creole who wrote, Peace, peace. Now, the nerve of Garfield to talk about rescheduling. Some people are still buying that stuff. How gullible can people be? How gullible can people be? So now I've heard, oh, no, 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 it wasn't a sting operation. It's just my brother who used that term. Because some people have said, yeah, when someone gets robbed, the police don't do any sting operation. Have you ever heard of that, brothers and sisters? You get robbed and the police does a sting operation. I mean, maybe if you get robbed of diamonds and kilos of cocaine, maybe the police will do a sting operation. But if a purse gets snatched, a watch gets snatched, I never heard. Have you heard of sting operation when somebody gets robbed in the street? Let me know. I'm just curious. Set the record straight, wrote, we've been around for 12 years on YouTube and many channels, 11,000. Well, feel free to share the YouTube link. V. Bennett wrote, Sanetta said they would do this soon as Garfield said he was not coming. I don't understand. Please rephrase. Peanut King wrote, stop. I'm laughing, crying. I'm crying, laughing. Now, V. Bennett wrote, there will be no corroboration too late. James Powell, how you doing? Helder, it's been a while. Mr. Vegas TV, finally, you make the honor. You're honoring us with your presence. I'm honored. And I have to thank brother. He used to be Imhotep 360, but now it is, well, actually, it's Imhotep 360 here. Let me look at the channel. Brothers and sisters, let me see. We have Mr. Vegas TV. It is him indeed. Wagwan. Lot of mercy. I'm so honored. Osaimka, greetings, Hoteps and E.
What's up, Sam? Uncle Jet, Uncle Johnson, Abdul Hendo. Man.
We have an international superstar in the chat, Mr. Vegas TV.
What's up, Big Vegas?
Feel free to speak, brother Osaimka. Do you believe what I mean? I know you know Garfield, so you're gonna have to be diplomatic.
Let me say this, man. Garfield, from knowing him way back in the day in the Hangouts, for those of you who don't know about the Hangouts, we used to get on Google Hangout, and all these new celebrities to you, they used to be in there in the chats with us. We used to get online like this, but it wasn't YouTube savvy or ready at that time, and we would have back chat conversations live. And we would test cats information. What's up, brother down below? When these things would happen, they would trade information back and forth. We would always trade information. Some of the people back then are stars now. They weren't stars then, but they got to you first on YouTube. So you'll still see remnants from stuff like me and my brother Ma'at just pop up, like names like Kemet Empire, different stuff like that. So when I see the brother and I see him doing this thing, I'm happy for him. And you know this, brother Ma'at, because you fought Muay Thai. I fought Muay Thai. I fought MMA. I've been on stage doing MC stuff in front of 10,000. I've been on, you know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, and this is what I said on the show. If you are obligated to the public to do an event, you go through with that event. If for some reason you cannot understand you are a public figure, you're going to face scrutiny, whether you like it or not, especially if you cancel and they need their money back. And when people say stuff to you, it's okay. You let them know, I'm sorry, we'll make it happen again. If I can't, I will do this so that you don't feel cheated out of the situation. This is why when our brother below down here, when he started to talk to Garfield, I gave Garfield an out so he could, I'm like, you need to apologize, my brother. You need to do this. We need to understand two things. When this happens, this happens. The other thing, because it's really not all Garfield's fault. Remember, the first time this happened, it was JABARI and COVID. Regardless of the situation, COVID stopped the event. JABARI had it. The second time, it was Garfield.
Sorry, I'm going to let you continue, of course, but JABARI considered pulling out, but there was no date yet. I just wanted to say that, but feel free, brother.
Absolutely. And they stopped it. They had to come back to it. Second time, something happened with Garfield again. Here's our third time. Something happened, I believe, with JABARI. They had to move the week over. Or no, that was with Garfield too. And then, boom, with Garfield. This last one, I really don't consider this last one Garfield's fault. Why? Because Garfield was ready to debate, and Sinetter moved the show time like 3 different times. We were on this channel right here. And I said, brother Ma'at, I said, Shaka, send the link. Because this just happened, not the actual pay link where I would get it for free, but send the link so we know where to go for the discussion. He didn't have it. He paid. He pulled up Eventbrite in front of us, and it said show ended. Sinetter told us that would happen, but Sinetter said it would be on by 2:00. Show didn't start till 4:30. So if you got obligations later in the day, I get it. But here's my thing. And you know, like I told Garfield, I said, go do a show so we can pay attention because I want to see what you got. And because he actually pulled something from me for the debate, I wanted to see how he would use it. I'm saying, let's see what you got, how you going to do it. Here's my thing. If you had an emergency and you're talking with detectives and you're also talking with Ankh, you're talking with everybody under the sun, get on the damn TV. Let's go to work. Get on the YouTube. Let's go. You done talk to everybody under the sun. You talk to Kefren apparently. You talk to Ankh. You talk to Smash. You talk to Sa. You talk to Jabari twice. You talk to Jabari's friends. Just turn on your YouTube. Let's get busy. It's just a debate, you know, and the information is not even really that important. We just want to see how it plays out because it's good. It's a good discussion, but the actual information, it'll have no bearing on your life, right? But get on the goddamn YouTube. You talking to everybody on the phone. Get on the YouTube and talk to us. Cats paid money for this. Come talk to the people who paid the money. With that, I'm gonna shut up for 2 seconds.
Well, brother Imhotep 360, feel free, and then we're gonna let our elder brother James Powell. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, Shaka. Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. So, I think sometimes it's not how things happen, it's how we deal with it, right? Now, with everything that transpired, allegedly, from Garfield's perspective, right? I think the problem is how they get defensive when people are saying, like, you guys could have apologized. No one can hold them and let them apologize, right? But at the end of the day, if people have paid their money, people are expecting a product, and you don't deliver, I don't see nothing wrong with you having the humility and the integrity to say, I apologize for the circumstances that made me not able to do the debate. I don't see nothing wrong with that. The funny thing is, though, like, whenever you go on the platforms where he has his group of people over there, is like, and you say that, they become defensive. And that's the same thing that Sekou was saying yesterday. Sekou was on the panel, and Sekou was very respectful. And Sekou was saying, Garfield, we understand what happened. We empathize with you. However, you could have notified Sarnetter. And when he said that, Sabio, you know, a Garfield groupie, Ankh, they attacked him and say, go back to Africa, and they cursed him out. And I was like, that wasn't necessary because the brother did not say anything wrong. He was just expressing what could have been done. Now, so I actually went on Smash channel earlier today because when I was listening to what they were saying, I was like, okay, I see what's going on. So I asked Ankh because Garfield said that Ankh knew what was going down, right? So I asked Ankh and I said, Ankh, when Garfield posted on his Facebook about not turning up for the debate, what was your response on his Facebook page? And Ankh was like, I didn't write anything on his page. I said, yes, you did. And I said, what did you write? He said, I don't remember. And I said, you put a very surprised emoji, like a what the heck emoji. Now, if you knew what was going on from before, there was no need for you to even put that emoji there. If you were in the loop and whatever happened, you could be like, hang in there, brother, we got you. The surprise face emoji was like very surprised. That didn't stand no justice. Like, he deflected from that. Anyways, Garfield said that the debate was supposed to start at 1 p.m. I get that. He said that up until 2:16, he didn't hear from anybody. And that's when he got some form of communication. And I was like, Garfield, but if you are scheduled for a debate at 1 p.m., why it took you an hour and 16 minutes for you to even inquire to know what's going on? You know, those are questions that critical thinkers are going to ask, and people are going to be uncomfortable with it. I'm going to yield so others can chime
in. Thanks for the contribution. Brother Elder James Powell, it's been a minute. Feel free to speak.
Yes, sir. I just want to add on a little to what Assam Khan had said, and the gentleman that just finished, both of them were pretty much correct, man. They were right on track. Uh, I've been on the outside, as you can see, fellas. I am an elder, but I've been a thinker ever since I was a youngster. They used to tell me back in the day, man, be quiet, especially when I started talking the black and white thing and how stuff didn't seem right. But I'm gonna leave that alone and just say I've been a critical thinker for a while. And just looking at this whole situation, we've all known about this debate. We know that the corona messed it up. And it's been some years, just giving them time to get it together. And I was feeling kind of anxious too, man. I said, man, this thing really fixing to happen. We're gonna get some good education from this, and that's mainly what I'm into the YouTube streets about, because especially they call it the conscious community when it's talking about our people. And this is something that all of our people need to know, especially our children coming up. And I got grandkids, and I want to tell them and help them understand what this world is all about and what this world's been about for us black people, Negroes, African Americans, whatever you want to call us. But I've been waiting on them, and just to see this going on, I can't believe it, man. Everybody wants to find a finger to point. I know that, and people been, they've been saying, well, Garfield, he's not going to win, and it's just been building up. People, I'm ready to see it, and then for it to just happen like this, where Garfield, he's not letting Sarnetta know what's going on, even though he's got to bow out for a minute because of an emergency situation, a family or whatever. I think it was kind of not fair of Garfield to let Sarnetta know a little bit more. He just told him, I got something that I got to do, and I can't do it now. I know they rescheduled it. I really find out about the January thing. I knew about December 24th, but I didn't know about January stuff until lately. But that still didn't happen. I just think it's ridiculous. I think if we're going to be a responsible people, and we're going to be respectful towards each other, we should do things in respectful ways. And I didn't see any of that. So I don't want to run on too much. I'm going to be like the young man that was before me. I'm not going to talk too much, but I think it's just ridiculous, man, the way the thing's going on. All this name calling and these groupies, everybody's going to take sides to a certain degree, but what you really should take sides for is the truth, I think, and that's not what's happening right now.
Thank you for your contribution. Now, my take so far is that indeed, like Osamka said, there was a scheduled time, which was 1 p.m. But Osamka talked about the Muay Thai. Not only I practice Muay Thai, but I did some championships. I won a few titles. Not world champion or stuff like that, but and there's the championships where you win a title on a national level, like local level, national level, and international world. And there's I don't know, I think you call them tournaments. We have different words, of course, in French. So you don't win a title, but you win a prize and you get paid. So I used to go to so many. Actually, the majority of my subscribers have subscribed because of the Muay Thai video, some kickboxing, some even boxing, and so on. And I think Osam Kawu will probably agree with me. They might tell you, okay, it's going to start at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. You arrive on time or early, you don't even enter the venue until an hour later or 2 hours later. Then when you're in the venue, you wait another hour.
Wow.
These things happen. These things happen, you see? So even if some CSI stuff happen, the least you do is you inform the person. Normally, anybody in their right mind will make themselves available. But apparently, there was some schedule, quote unquote, sting operation, because it's not really a sting operation anymore. And I think that the more female cat Garfield speaks, the more he's betraying himself because the narratives don't add up. Our brother Grandmaster Imhotep 360 gave an example earlier. People don't remember stuff that happened not long ago, just a few days ago. Now, we have the narrative now. All his family is holy, sacred. If you don't believe in that narrative, it's as if you're against the family. And indeed, we have people who are getting very angry, not just defensive, but angry, insulting, using profanity. Now,
Yeah.
there's a loose cannon. I think he has some. I think he's special. Going to be diplomatic. But others have the same demeanor. And I like what Smash Rockwell said. Smash Rockwell said, when there's a situation, never go harder than the guy who has a situation. And we have a bunch of groupie dudes who go 10 times harder than Garfield.
Yeah.
Remember the degree.
True.
Chef said he saw the degree, but it wasn't the name that we know. Chris MVP Harris said he saw the degree. It was a different name, it was a different field. Garfield called on my platform. Talked about, but my middle name, whatever. I don't want people to know it. He's a public figure. And still to this day, he hasn't shown his degree. So I don't believe it. Most people don't believe the narrative. It's too fishy. I never heard of a sort of sting operation because something was stolen. And regardless, the least he could have done is get in contact. Indeed, why do you wait over an hour after the scheduled time to start hollering at people? You could have said, okay, I have something, let's reschedule. It's that simple. But they are trying to push a narrative. And if we don't follow along with their narrative, and it's just like Christianity, you get down or lay down. Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. You believe it, you're good. You don't believe it, you're off with your head. It's the same mentality to me. But feel free to add on, brothers.
Let's do this.
Yeah,
right?
Shaka. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. We got all day.
No, go ahead, family. Go ahead. That's fine.
We're gonna do something real quick. This is how a scenario should play out in the conscious community or any community, right? As a cult leader, because I am, and there's nothing wrong with a cult. The cult is a group. Just watch the cult on Smash's show. As soon as they start, you got a whole bunch of groupies following you, or you got a whole bunch of people who have learned from your experience that you inform, and they help and assist because you guys are for the same cause. That's all a cult is. The only time a cult becomes a problem or becomes problematic is when guys start to do stuff like knock off Martin Luther King's mother, knock off Martin Luther King's brother. You understand what I'm saying? Knock off Malcolm X, throw a firebomb through his daughter's window. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when a cult is dangerous. When you go Waco, Texas, that's what scares you about the term cult. Because what is Christianity? It's a cult. You know the difference? Is bigger than yours. So it becomes a major religion as opposed to a cult. And at the time when being a Shimsu was bigger than Christianity and all these others, guess what Christianity was? It was a little cult started in Cairo with dudes named Origin, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the same thing. Now, what we're going to do real quick for the conscious community, this is what should happen to these dudes that y'all listen to and follow. And Shaka, ask me to go get my college certificates.
So, can you show us your college certificate? If it's not too much to ask, if you don't mind.
Hold on one moment. I'll be right back.
All right.
This is how it should go.
I'll put my timer here. So let's see how quick it's going to be.
Yeah, so just to add in the meantime while Asarian Car is out, right? When we speak about cult, especially in the conscious community, because we are, it's a social media age. And, this is a platform where people chime in and stuff like that. Now, what we are seeing happening on these platforms is that there is no room for dissent. There's no room for us to apply critical thinking and question anything at all without being attacked. Since you're back, Asar, you can go ahead, family.
Finish
Yeah,
your
so
thought. That was a good thought. Keep going.
That's but hold on. Just show
No,
us.
I
That's
was just
less than 1
saying.
minute.
Yes.
That's less than 1 minute. But go ahead, and then after he will show us. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yes. What I'm saying is that on a lot of these platforms nowadays is like there is no room for dissent. A cult becomes dangerous as well, especially in academia or the conscious community, when people cannot have critical thinking, they cannot show dissent, they cannot respectfully disagree. And that is so prevalent in the space right now. Like, if you're not going with the narrative, you're a hater and you should get away and get the F out and stuff like that. Like, we have to like change from that stance because it's gonna be toxic. It's gonna destroy the community. It's gonna fragment the community because a lot of these platforms, they don't allow for anyone to question or show any form of repudiation to whatever argument they present.
Now, with that being said,
And-
welcome,
and
Brother Kefren, before I get busy.
So well, hold on, Chef. Just one more moment. So feel free, Osamka, if you want to, but we've seen the timing was less than 1 minute, and some people have made claim of degrees, and it's been weeks, if not months. But feel free to add on, Chef.
Less than 1 minute. Go ahead.
Oh no,
Chef.
go ahead, Asar. Go ahead,
Okay.
Asar. Go ahead.
So Sheffer never asked me for a degree, and he did on one show. And another brother asked me in the debate community on Solar Vision Debate League for my degrees before. I said my real name is Adrian Jones. He is one of my degrees. He is one of the joints. ACCSC. You see, this is one of my film certificates. Oh, here goes one for Egyptology. This is one of those. Certificate awarded Manchester, School of Manchester. Joyce, I can't remember her name. This is from the School of Manchester, England. If I want to carry my guns, here's a gun certificate. If I want to go get the other ones that's sitting up there over there, I just pull them down.
Brother, is it the certificate you went for, or did you go for the diploma or the masters?
For this one, it's a diploma.
It's a diploma. No, from Manchester.
Manchester, just a certificate.
The certificate.
I wanted the certificate for war.
We have the same professor.
Yeah.
I was so shocked when you said Manchester. Then you see the name.
So, the article they write about the arrow being the bullet online, that's my article from her class, from their class. And I just said you don't even have to put the name on it, just put it up there. That's my article. If y'all read it, and I've seen 3 people use it. That's the research we did. Know that I went over to Kemet, not with them, but I have, and it's documented. So this is just pull your credential out if you really got it. You understand?
Yeah,
that's something you got to be able to do.
That's such a coincidence. And but go ahead, Chef. Go ahead.
Oh no! I'm listening to y'all build. That's what's up. Like somebody asks you for something, you show it. Like, you know what I mean? You ain't got nothing to hide. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, and that's our income.
No, hold on. Especially if you're getting online and you're using.
Yeah, and if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Yeah, but if you're using it, if you're using it as a barometer for people to judge your credibility, then when somebody asks for it, show it. You feel me? That's like if we start talking about history, right? And I be like, well, I got a degree in history, right? To try to boost my status in the argument or the conversation. Well, the moment we get to some contention, if somebody asks me for that degree in history, I should be able to produce that because I said I got it. Right? That's my whole reason for my stance in the argument. I'm saying I know this, and y'all should basically take what I'm saying with some weight
because I have a degree in this subject. So then when y'all ask me for it, I should be able to show it. Because if I didn't want y'all to ask me for it, right? If I didn't want to use it, in the argument, then I shouldn't have brought it up. I shouldn't have said I had it, right? If we just have, I never use my credentials in our arguments that we have, because I don't have no credentials in the arguments that we have. You feel me? I don't have no history degree. I don't have no Egyptology degree. You dig what I'm saying? So I never bring, if I say I do, and Asar or Shaka, y'all say, well, Chef, can you show me your degree? You know what I mean? That ain't no slander. You know what I mean? I can't say, no, that's personal now. No, I brought it into the conversation. So, but yeah, good bill, fellas. Good bill.
Yeah, and hold on, we have, oh, there it is. Chief X, feel free to speak, brother.
Chief, you.
Let me get my can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just
we
frozen.
can hear you. Yeah, your screen is frozen, but we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm driving, so my screen is frozen.
Yeah, but we hear you.
Let me.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Oh, I see
Can
you
people
try
hear
to
me?
connect.
Turn
Yeah,
your camera off.
we can still hear you. I see you try to connect with some other one. So hold on, let me put the other one. Oh, the other one is just your avatar. Do you want me to remove the previous one? Can you hear us, Chief X? Oh, we have Pan-African James as well. So, Chief X, we don't hear you right now. I don't know if you can hear us, but we have both your connection.
Avatars.
We'll have the one in the car, and the which is frozen, and we have the other one where there's your avatar.
Kick the one in the car off, Shaka.
Yeah. Okay. So let me do that.
Boot that one.
Kick guest. So Chief X. Oh, you're muted, Chief X. Oh, okay. Feel free to come back, Chief X. Well, Pan-African James, feel free to speak, brother.
Brother James.
Peace. What happened to all you brothers? Happy New Year's.
Peace,
I've
Same
been
to you.
paying attention, to what's been going on. I've been paying attention to what's been going on here, and it's really disgusting, right? That it takes 3 years for two people to live in the same city to have a conversation. A conversation that me personally, I don't even care about, because I know the chronology of history. What Garfield is talking about is 2,000 years after the fact. So, this is just really just for nothing, if you ask me. We know the chronology of history. Anything that Garfield is going to bring is going to be written on papyrus or something to that effect. Any history you have, brother, they don't acknowledge where they get their information from. Of the day, like the Herodotus and the Plato, they acknowledge it, but the people of today don't acknowledge that the history may have been copied, right? Also, and I'm not going to be long, also, another point that I wanted to make is that Garfield acts like the correlations between Heru and Jesus, we just made this up. You see what I'm saying? Scholars made this or made the correlations before we even got a hold to the text. So we're not making up these correlations of Mary, like his mother just so happens to be Mary. The Mary argument is say, well, there's a lot of people named Mary. But we know that Mary was a significant, or that name was a significant name in the culture in Kemet. We know that. It wasn't just a name. It was a name of somebody prominent. But he'll use his arguments to try to denote the Mary correlation in the history. So I don't have time to really even deal with Garfield. And I think that it's a shame that a lot of people that are scholarly are defending even that position. And I'll stop it. What Clark said was very important. I only debate my equals. Others I teach. Somebody that's dealing with the 2,000-year delay in their history is not even worthy of a conversation if he's trying to bring validity to it, saying that Jesus was an actual person. And we know that the Jesus we're talking about is the Jesus that was born of a virgin birth, the Jesus that walked on water, the Jesus that fed 5,000 people with a fish. We know what Jesus they're talking about. So he needs to stop that, and we really need to stop even entertaining this type of discussion. With that said, I yield the floor.
Thank you, Brother Chief X. We can see you now, and we can hear you. Feel free to speak, brother.
I don't know what, I'm in my car. I do not know what's wrong with my audio. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you very clearly. The sound is great.
But I can't hear you guys for some reason. It's very, very faint.
You good? Go ahead. Go in.
But we can hear you.
You know, I'm gonna drive a block to a different area. I'll be back. Hold on.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, we have this narrative because, you know, family was mentioned, so you cannot say anything. Otherwise, you look like a hater. You look like a heartless person. And
They
now
call me a hater.
Yeah, well, they would do that. They would do that, you know. And we hear about a reschedule after JABARI presented his information, even though he didn't present everything. So now he can study. And now the narrative is as if first they were trying to blame JABARI and Sanetta for the debate not happening. Now that they have realized that it doesn't hold weight, they are acting like Garfield is ready anyway for a reschedule. You reschedule something that did not take place. You don't reschedule something that took place. The debate did not take place because Garfield was a no-show, but JABARI presented the information on the scheduled date. There was no cancellation from Garfield. Garfield did not ask for the event to be postponed. So now what they're going to do is act like, well, JABARI didn't want it. He didn't want to do the rescheduling. And it's amusing to me. Really amusing to me.
See, to me,
go ahead, brother.
I was thinking in the first place that, okay, if I'm Garfield and Sanetta block me and I got those times and all that stuff in the phone, I'm going to just click. He said he's about to do that tonight at 8. I'm going to make a video about that saying, look, this is what really happened. This is the only way you could really come back from that situation because you just tapped out of a fight before the fight started. So I'm going to make a video like that. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to present a good portion of my information. And I say, if he really wants this debate to happen, because I got plenty more, let's get it on. See me on Friday. This is the evidence. This is what happened. There's a prop. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to come with it, because if you don't, you pulled out, brother. You got weak pullout game. And
the thing is this, right? The thing is this. The thing is this, Asari. So, Asari, the thing is this, right? This guy, he was pro Kemet, you know, even saying that Kemet has over 3,000 years and, you know, predates Sumer and all that stuff, right? And his hatred and jealousy for JABARI made him starting to come against Kemet. That's fine. That's his position. I respect that. The problem is people who respect the Nile Valley civilization are going to support JABARI. So now, whatever transpired and him coming forward, we are going to be scrutinizing him, because had this been JABARI, it would have been a national holiday. They would have been saying that he should be discredited. He should never come back on any platforms or anything like that. They would be celebrating. Now they're acting as if like we cannot critique them and question what transpired. I wanted this debate for one specific reason. What I've seen in the community is this, right? Especially with Garfield, and it played out and Smash yesterday. Smash went on the Suda Killers because Garfield was doing some presentation on the Suda Killers, right? And Garfield was presenting that the Greeks got They were Greek gods that were older than Kemetic gods. And Smash went on and said, show me where the Greek gods predate the Kemetic gods, right? And Smash presented a document of Herodotus saying that, you know, the Kemetic deities were older, and Garfield said, I don't believe that. Now he feels so pompous and arrogant to question a primary document just to say, I don't believe that, without presenting any form of scholarship to repudiate it.
Right.
So I wanted that debate because we cannot have people in the community just approaching the information that way.
No, and you're right. But I could listen. Me and Garfield go back far enough where I can pull out. I can go right the same way I did my brother Ujao. I can go into one of the old Google Hangouts and I can show you a full type out of Garfield defending Jesus being stolen from Kemet. I wouldn't do that to him. I got it. It's sitting right in my Per Saber account. But I wouldn't do that to him. That's how far back me and Garfield go. So I could pull up his own argument to destroy the argument he's about to present tonight because it's sitting right in Google Hangout. But what I'm saying is this. Some of you guys who hang on to their information real tightly like that, me and my brother Ma'at do not. We respect the players on the field, but we don't because we've been in the game a little bit longer and we watched them come up. You know, Jabari grew up in this. Garfield grew up around this, but he didn't start discussing and debating till later. And so when I'm telling you, we see what's going on, and I'm just amused at best by both players in the game. That's all I am. For some of you who move with them in that direction, you hold tightly to it. But trust me, the sun will come out tomorrow, regardless if they do or regardless if they don't. But to save face for Garfield, go in tonight. That's the only thing that I could tell him to do. Go in tonight. Because we made it clear on Smash's show when I pulled up the original Christian school in Cairo or in Alexandria, sitting right there, still got remnants of it there today, with the particular people who started the school and the origins of their parents, how their pagan parents went against what they were doing, but it was the new teenage thing at the moment. And then it got wheels and grew and became Christianity. We got that documented. Smash went in on some other stuff on it. Shaka and Dougal went in on some other stuff on it. Other people have gone. So if you don't know the truth has already been done on those shows. They're just going against Jabari, and this is really over that pay-per-view money. This is really over some statements that were made behind the scenes with Jabari and a follower and Garfield and that particular girl and all that other goofy stuff, whatever happened with them. This is what that's about. And this is why it's culminating now. But for you not to show up on the night you're supposed to show up, like I just gave the analogy about me and him being in a ring, and trust me, there's more anxiety if you have to go physically fight somebody than you just having to get on and type something and I can do this, I can hide my face behind the avatar and I can be, you know what I'm saying? There's more anxiety in that than doing this on a computer. People pay money to see you do what you do. You go, you show up, you handle your business. If you win or lose, it doesn't matter, but you go and you show up. It's that simple.
Hey,
And
let me
hold on, okay, I'm sorry, brother James Power. I would like to let Chief X and also Sunchild,
okay.
and then is going to be okay, it's going to be you, Elder, and Pan African James wants to share something. So after the Elder is going to be Pan African James. But just before that, I want to say something that amused me earlier. Garfield said on Smash Rockwell's YouTube that the pseudos have to go. Then he named Asar Himofake, the guy who said that Hebrew is connect with Yoruba, and that Allah is in the Egyptian text, and that the Hebrew is an African language. So it's so amusing. But go ahead, Chief X, feel free. You're muted, Chief X.
Unmute yourself, baby.
Okay, can y'all hear me good now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, brother.
Go ahead.
Okay, I missed a lot of the conversation, so I'm not exactly sure what the exact topic is, but I just think you guys are talking about Garfield and the debate,
Yeah, basically,
right?
you don't believe his excuses, but feel free to
Oh
say
yeah.
anything you want. But please
So
try to
yeah,
chill on the profanity, brother.
absolutely, no problem. So I absolutely do not believe that excuse at all. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen my video I made last night, and
Yeah, I was
Jabari
on
was
there.
on.
I said it was funny.
Yeah, I checked it out. I was
You,
checking you
you
out.
actually made me comment on your video, man. I ain't never seen you before. That was my first time seeing you go in, you know.
And Jabari came through.
Well, if you missing out on a treat, bro, because I be having some fire videos, bro. Okay, so yeah, I do not believe him. Even if he did show up, I think Jabari would have destroyed him easily. I think they've had. I mean, I've been following Jabari and Garfield having conversations since forever, right? And every conversation they've had, when it was just a discussion, a debate, or whatever, Jabari every single time made Garfield look bad. Every single time he made Garfield appear to be an emotional wreck and all out of control. I mean, it just Jabari affects these guys in a way where they just lose it. They're going crazy. I mean, just like, and I don't understand why they dislike this man so much. You know, man, I do not agree with him at all, but I actually personally like him. I mean, he's an intelligent man. He has good morals. He's a kind guy. I never ever seen him cussing people out and going off like other people do. I mean, so it's a lot of other people out here to hate besides Jabari. Okay, Jabari should be the last person somebody's hate. So if it's hating that much, then these are personal issues with the people who hate him. They got something they going through and on, and a lot of times, a lot of these cats always wanted to be some conscious community celebrity, and it's just not going to happen. Some of these guys, you cannot be the next Dr. Ben, the next John Henry Clark. A lot of these guys is just not built like that. They don't have the personality. It's not going to happen. So this is what the struggle and fight is all about. People jockeying for position to be the best scholar, and it's all silly. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's been fun. Hey, but sorry, I wanted to ask you: do you still do martial arts and you still train?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matter of fact, one of my more famous students just passed away. Anthony Rumble Johnson had passed away. So
yeah, condolences to Anthony. I loved Anthony Rumble Johnson.
We did a tribute.
But one thing, you're in California, right?
No, I'm in Colorado, but I'm in California often. I'm usually down at Kung Lee's gym sometimes, and Vut Kamnarik. We go to his gym too.
I thought you lived out here in Cali.
I'm out there often. We used to go out there for the fights all the time, like with when Pat, my other partner, Pat Smith, when I would coach him, we would be out there, and we would be out there. I was out there for the Pride Fight Championships when Pride used to have their fights. I was out there because Saki Kabara and them wanted us to come down there, and the Japan trips when Dajiro Matsui and Sakuraba and them, they would show us the town, right, and then come to America. We do vice versa. So yeah.
So so I don't mean to change the subject forever, Maya, but I asked that because I thought you was in Cali, and I was gonna hit you up one day and say I want to work out and spar a little bit with some of the youngsters just to stay in shape, because I used to box and wrestle, right?
Okay.
But I reached out to Rob Emerson. You familiar with Rob Emerson?
No, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rob Emerson is halfway coaches Jared Cannonier, and halfway coaches Sean O'Malley. So I reached out because I wanted Sean O'Malley become my business partner and investor in my cannabis business. So just to throw this out there, and I'm gonna leave it alone. If you know any one of these fighters who's successful and making good money, I'm looking for a business partner in the cannabis business.
I tell you
and I just need I need an investor who at least has at least 175,000, and they become 40% owner. They become 40% ownership.
You come out here. I'll take you. I don't know if you remember one of my little dudes, Lumumba Sayers from Strike Force. He had knocked out their former champ. He was supposed to fight supposed to fight Lawler. Lawler didn't want to fight him, and Melvin Manhuef was supposed to fight him.
I love Melvin.
Yeah, Melvin got knocked out by Robbie. My old training partner Pete Spratt knocked out Robbie, and Lumumba trains with us, so that didn't happen. But Lumumba knocked out just about everybody else on there. If you want to come out here, because he's a preacher, and he gets said monies for his association, because obviously he's a 501c3. So
there's a $5,000 finder's fee.
Come on out here. Just let me know when you want to come out. We'll shoot over there to the gym and shoot it over to him. And then I'll take you to some of the other cannabis people who started it, because we started the certificates and all that out here. I have one of the first red cards because we helped shape the bill. Where's my red card at? Wherever it's at.
So I need you to call. I need you to call me and reach out to me though.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that on the low because we.
Yeah, stay with us. Stay with us, please. Sunshine, thank you for waiting. Feel free to speak and please use your webcam like earlier if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Feel free to speak, brother.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me in and allowing me to ask a question. I don't have anything to ask about. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Yeah, we can hear you. I don't have anything to add with regards to Garfield. I do have a question regarding
he froze up.
For you, brothers. Yes.
Froze up.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear us, Sunshine, but your screen is frozen and we no longer hear the sound. It looks like some connection issue, but maybe if you can try to leave the stream
go out and come back.
It might. Oh, was it you, Sunshine? Oh,
well, maybe you need to go out and come back.
Oh yeah. Please feel free to come back because we no longer hear you. So James Power, Elder, please go ahead, and then Pan-African James, you'll be able to share your screen. Go ahead, brother. Okay. James Power.
Okay. But I was thinking about I'm gonna go back to the Garfield situation for a minute. I remember this program. It had to be back around I don't know, February. When he mentioned something tonight, I was watching Smash too, and he asked Smash to come on his Black History Month program in February this year coming up. But this was back in a February program where he had a lot of white scholars, and one of the white scholars didn't like JABARI. I think this is where a lot of this animosity and stuff started at. This is just my opinion. It could be a lot more before this that I don't know about. But one of the white scholars went to talking about JABARI, and I don't know if Garfield went along with it. I'm not quite sure, or he just allowed it and didn't defend JABARI or stop the conversation because JABARI wasn't there. That's what I hear, people normally do on their platforms when you go to talking about somebody and they're not there. They'll say, "Well, hey, we don't want to do that right now. He's not here to defend himself." But that's where a lot of that animosity started, I believe. And they've been getting at yeah, they've been getting at each other pretty hard ever since then.
But yeah, exactly. That's way before. And that brother, the scholar talking about
Oh, go ahead, brother Shaka.
All right. No problem, brother Usamka. He's called Dr. Richard Carrier. And it's funny you mentioned his name because JABARI said he wanted to debate him. And then we haven't heard from Richard Carrier. So you see how some people like that, they act like they want the smoke. But, and I don't mind if Garfield didn't stop him from speaking, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is that Garfield paid him. Garfield paid
Yeah,
That person of
he
European
did.
descent,
Yeah.
Garfield in here talking that black talk, acting like he wants to. But anyway, um, actually, Garfield said earlier that he's planning on having both Dr. Carrier and Dr. Bart Ehrman, who is very very famous. Now he said that because Bart Ehrman doesn't want to debate Carrier because Carrier is very blunt. The way he speaks. He uses profanity in his writing, and he made a very harsh rebuttal of the book Did Jesus Exist. So Garfield said that he's going to try to have both of them, but not at the same time. And he said it's going to be the greatest event in Christianity, not just the conscious community, but Christianity. And this is a guy who's denying that he's a Christian apologist. But anyway, brother Sunchild, please go ahead. Feel free, brother.
Yeah, again, my question is regarding Jabari's presentation. It's regarding, I kind of am convinced that Christianity is stolen, but I do have one hang up with the concept of being stolen. Hopefully you can help me clarify this. My hang up is regarding Alexander the Greek and being welcomed into Egypt as a liberator. The idea is that he was welcomed into Egypt as a liberator. He went and made sacrifices to the gods.
Yep.
And at the oasis at Siwa, he was declared the son of Amun-Ra.
Yep.
Can we confirm this? Okay. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now, the idea is that being declared the son of Amun-Ra, does this give him some type of entitlement, inheritance, free will with the knowledge of Egypt? And can we then say that it is stolen, in fact, by the Greeks, whom the Christians got it from indirectly? That's the hang up in my head. If you can speak to that, I'd appreciate it. Anyone, Brother Shaka?
Well, I'm not too familiar with that. I heard about some of those guys being seen as a liberator, but Osam Kai, it looks like you have some knowledge on that. So feel free if you want to give an answer. But personally, I don't have an answer. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Alexander the Greek was Alexander of Macedonia. He was invited to expulse some of the people who were in Egypt by the Egyptians themselves. So that is true. He was called son of Amun-Ra, which they did the same thing for Julius Caesar, if that's any of any account. What it is this though. He did, remember, you have a library of Alexandria. So he wanted certain books to be written. He would commission certain books to be gotten. No different than Ptolemy had. You had several what you would call Jews now, or at that time Hebrews, brought over, put in separate rooms, so that he could compose a book of the laws. So once he did that, you obviously see different rulers at different times that had power in ancient Egypt. They could commission things. Alexander was no different. That's why you have the Library of Alexandria. In fact, I walked through his castle that's over there, and I went to the Library of Alexandria on my channel. So you can see those things. They're there still to this day. The main thing though is that he was no more special than any other Nasut Biti, any other king, so to speak. He's late period, so he's not in the Pharaonic era. The Pharaonic era ends pretty much after the Nehesi, the Nubians take over, and after they're usurped, you pretty much are right at the Ptolemaic era. You have the Persians, and then you have the Ptolemies, and then you have Greeks, you have Rome, you have different people who are not so attached to what they call the Pharaonic period. Bringing them in here. Um, so yeah, it's true. It's true. Like I said, if you ever read the Dendera Zodiac, it's to Julius Caesar. Me and Saber Reggie had pointed that out because if you read the Medu Neter, you're gonna see what the Ptolemies do, and you're gonna see what African culture did. And that's no big deal because remember, it was what's Hatshepsut's Sin and Mut. Sin and Mut originally built the Dendera temple, but then it got destroyed. And so you had Greeks and Romans rebuild it. And when they rebuild it, you have Julius Caesar on a particular zodiac in there. So yeah, it's true.
So what does that do for the stolen argument?
For which argument?
The argument of the Egyptian theology being, the Christian theology being stolen from Egypt.
Well, this is, remember, I don't know if you watched Smash's show. We were on there. And I said this. I said the only real way you can run this argument is if you say it was borrowed, right? Because there's tax receipts showing them paying for their gods. So they paid for this wholeheartedly. You know, the first Christian school. Now, here's the issue. And this is where we was talking to Jabari. I said, Jabari, if you go to the first Christian school over there where it's at in Alexandria, you can see what they're talking about. So people like Origen and what's his name of I'll think of it later in the show, his name, the other guy. These are the famous people. When you see them talking to their parents who are still pagan, as they put it. In other words, they're still Shemsu. They hold on to the ancient faith. They either worship an Asara or a Set or somebody like that. When you see that, and they're looking at Origin like, what are you kids doing? If that's what you want to do, go ahead. Go ahead. So they hold on to the old faith. Origin and different people in that time demonize the faith of the Egyptians at the time, demonize the culture that the Egyptians were running with. And when that starts to happen, you start to have the formality of Christianity. And so this is where it starts to come into play. And so all you got to do, look up Origin and look up Origen's parents. It's going to say Origen's parents were pagan. Origin, said such and such and blah, 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 and contest to his parents. You'll find stuff like that. Clement of Alexandria. Clement of Alexandria's parents were pagan. You'll find him blah, 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 blah. And these are your first teachers in that school. These are your originators of that school. What's his name? Is it Mark? The real Mark, the actual Mark that existed, or whatever is Mark or whatever his name is. He's supposedly the one that starts this school. Brother Jabari is in the building.
Yeah, Brother Jabari is in the building. Now, Pan-African James, please hold that screen share. But Brother Jabari, please, the sister was waiting for a while. If you don't mind, I want to let the sister on, and then I can let you. But thank you for coming. I'm honored of your presence. So, Sister Sacred Energy Empress Tarot, feel free to speak, sister.
Peace and blessings to everyone on the piano, everyone in the chat. I just wanted to speak on the situation with Garfield. Even tonight, he's going to have another live at 8 p.m. saying that Father exposed the real reason for the cancellation of the show.
Your audio is messed up, Queen. I mean, I don't understand. I can't hardly hear.
Your audio is not very great, but I think it's
can y'all hear
like
me?
You said that he's gonna. Yeah, we can hear you, Pan-African James. Sister, it sounded like you said that Garfield's gonna have something at 8 p.m. Is that what you were saying? Oh, okay. We don't hear you anymore, sister.
He did say he was doing something at 8 p.m.
All right. Okay. Well, those who like him can go over there. So, thank you for contribution, sister. Feel free to come back on the screen on the stream. Oh, actually, I don't know. Your connection is not very great, but Brother Jabari, thank you for being here. Hotep and EET, feel free to speak, brother.
Peace, family, and hetapu to all of you. I was listening, good conversation. Thought it was really, really interesting. Really, there's some brothers that I have followed. I don't know if they know I followed them, but I followed them for a while. So I definitely wanted to come in and make a comment. I did hear the question about whether if Alexander was actually asked to come into Kemet, does that mean that the Christians have some sort of license to take from the Kemetic tradition? And I agree with Asar's analysis. I do want to tweak it a little bit. I think that when we look at the role of Alexander, we have to put it in context. Alexander coming into Kemet actually might have been a breath of fresh air to the Kemetic people.
Correct.
Because the Persians were extremely destructive of the Kemetic tradition. We see one of the Persian usurpers go to see the exhibition of the Hapi bull, sometimes called the Apis bull. And the people of Kemet would celebrate and say, this bull has some of the symbols of the divine, and they'd have this festival and everything. And he said, that bull is divine. And he just kills it and says, see, it's not divine, it's dead.
Disrespectful.
So the people were saying, we got to get rid of the Persians, right? They're absolutely disrespectful to our traditions. Now, I don't know, I have not found a native text that agrees that Alexander was asked to come into Kemet.
Correct.
But I do believe if we look at Alexander's presence in Kemet, it is possible that the Kemetic people were pleased that Alexander came in because he showed deference to the traditions of the Kemetic people.
He was lesser of the two evils.
Right. Exactly. And I think that we can also say, when people say that he was decided to be the son of Amun, how do we prove that? By the coins that he minted, saying that he was the son of Amun? So once again, I don't know if it's possible for us to say the Kemetic people said, this is the son of Amun. He certainly says he's the son of Amun. On his coins, I wish I had them here up for you to see. You'll actually see him with the ram horns. He actually goes to the oracle to communicate to Amun. So anyway, definitely Alexander, while he is not one of the native people, he pays deference to Kemetic tradition. Now, even if the Kemetic people had said, let's ask Alexander to get rid of these Persians who are destroying our tradition, would that give the Christians license for taking the Kemetic tradition? Let's be clear, when the Christians come into existence, they destroy the Greek tradition and the Kemetic tradition. So I think that sometimes we might think that the Greeks have some sort of cozy relationship. We have to understand that it is under the Romans that the Greek tradition becomes absolutely the state tradition. Obviously, most of us have heard about what Constantine does. Very few of us study Constantine's son, who accelerates what Constantine did. He literally closes temples and has people able to go in the temple, take the property of those pagans, notice my air quotes, please, and sell it. They sell it. Can you imagine that? They sell the stuff for their own aggrandizement. And then when we finally get to Theodosius, then we see that Theodosius is extremely adversarial to the earlier traditions. It's under Theodosius. Theodosius is a zealous Christian. Constantine, I believe, is he's really an opportunist. He sees that he possibly can use Christianity to his own advantage. But Theodosius is a zealot. And then he's the one that puts forward the Theodosian decree. He's the one that says that temples can be destroyed. He's the one where there's even a quote that I used during the debate where one of the followers of an earlier tradition said, if the priests say anything, they'll die. They just have to watch people run into the temple, steal everything, and destroy everything. If you say something, you will die. right?
It was like Hikakasu Part 2.
It was crazy, crazy, crazy. I know most of us are not familiar with, because we have heard Christianity, the Christian God is the God of love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we hear. I've been showing people, you know, that when Jabari comes on, he's always going to show a book, right? Y'all got to get this book. It's a little expensive. Making and Breaking the Gods. Most of what this book covers is the destruction by Christians in Kemet. And I know that when I have been doing my tours in Kemet, I actually show the destruction. I remember talking about the temple and trying to lay a basis for what a temple was. And one of my kids, he was 8, kept raising his hand. I can't ignore the child. I know I'm still in the middle of talking. I can't ignore him. I said, "Young Prince, what are you seeing?" He said, "Brother Jabari, are those crosses?" I said, "Yes, they are." He said, "Are you seeing people?"
Now you're gone.
And then I didn't hear what someone said. So then I said to him,
We have StreamYard problems, fellas.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you. Brother James,
the
sound is okay. Maybe it's on your end, but the sound is fine.
Does it look like the people who made this did that? He said, "No, it looks like they put it over the stuff." I said, "That's precisely what happened." Before I can continue, the child looked at his mother and he said, "Is the pastor a liar?" I was like, "Oh no."
That's funny, young.
That is obviously not what I was saying. But when you see these things for yourself, you begin to have, all of a sudden you have another understanding for what happened. And that's what this 8-year-old had experienced. I had to apologize to his mom, to talk to him and say, "Listen, you have to understand that your pastor he's not connected to this. He doesn't know anything about this, right? He gonna go and beat up on the black dude, you know, for what these early Christians did."
That's funny.
That's not fair either. But so I think that we have to recognize that even if Alexander was invited in, first of all, they were trying to get themselves from underneath the yoke of the Persians. And there are some signs that even those priests were uncomfortable with the Greeks and the Romans. I'm going to say this quickly and then I'm going to end. When you see some of the temples that were built for the Greeks and even more the Romans, what happened in all of the period of Kemetic history before that is they would put the king's name in a shen. In an oval that says that they are in eternity. When it came to the Greco-Roman period, they would usually leave them blank until that ruler came. If the ruler came, he'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna put it in," because if he sees it blank, he gonna know that we just say it. He's not with us. But if the ruler didn't come, they left them blank. So you can see that in some ways, this is a subtle form of cultural resistance. And so I want us to be clear. Let me just say to the brother, if you see someone borrow heavily from a tradition, if you see someone then say the people that we borrowed from are demons, are pagans, and then you see them erase what the other people did, how can you call it anything but theft? If I saw someone coming out my neighbor's house wearing their clothes, and then he said, "That guy's a bum," and then I saw him burning down the house, I would say, okay, not only is he a thief, but he's also trying to cover up what he did. So, I mean, I think that this is obvious. The Garfield tried to seed the ground with the concept that the idea of stealing is something that we can't understand. Everyone in this room knows what stealing is, right? Everyone in this room. When I showed the definition, he was less excited to debate. So that's all I got to say on the matter.
Quick question for you while you was over there. And to corroborate what you're saying, remember the Hikakasu shins were empty as well. We had to find their names differently because they wasn't, and they was there. Did you also show them what the Muslims did to the tradition?
I didn't focus as much on the Muslim aspect of it, but I alluded to it because I showed
Because there's a masjid in there and there's a church built in there. In the
that's the masjid of Abu Haggag. I showed it in my presentation. It was built on top of a portion of Luxor Temple. It's in my presentation. So that's the reason why when you look at it carefully, when I talk about transmission, I say, if you see the screen, it says Abrahamic traditions, because I'm coming for Islam soon. I'm just not there yet, right? I can't do everything at one time. But I want you to recognize that while we do not have the Christians say, yeah, I took it, so what? Why would we expect them to say that? And while we also don't see the Kemetic people saying, hey, they stole from us, why would we expect to see that when they when they killed people and destroyed the language? Why would we expect to see that? No. What we can do is we can look at all of the elements and be very clear about what happened. I'm not even sure how people make it sound like this is not theft. I don't understand. I would love for them to explain to me how they don't see theft, because I want to be clear. There are a lot of people that go to jail.
Hold on, I can tell you, Jabari.
I would love to hear that.
It's indoctrination.
There are a lot of people who
That's exactly one word.
There are a lot of people who go to jail every year who said, I didn't steal it. A lot of people. And they say, but you had the stuff. I mean, tell us how you got it. And they go, and they go, okay, go to jail. So that's what we should do. We should recognize what happened and move from there.
Can I ask Brother Jabari a question?
I didn't hear who was speaking. Brother
Sunchild, can I ask Jabari a question?
As long as it's okay with Shaka, he's the moderator. I'm not.
Oh, it's okay. No, I mean, we have the MVP right here, so feel free to take advantage and ask the brother questions. I'm fine with that. Please feel free, Sunshine.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
And I see my brothers in there too. I see Chief X, and I definitely see Sekou. So I want to say peace to them as well.
And I appreciate you coming in and answering that question, Brother Jabari. You did add some clarity for me. I appreciate that. If I could ask a follow-up question, would be, as far as I learned, it was at the Oracle of Siwa that Alexander went, and he was pronounced the son of Amun-Ra there after making sacrifices to the gods. My question to you is, can you define for us what exactly an oracle is in relation to the Kemetic priests? What the distinction is? Can we have a priesthood without an oracle, or the list of oracles? How are they different? What's their relationship, and so on?
I honestly don't believe that oracles are a major aspect of the Kemetic tradition. As I've studied Kemetic temples and Kemetic priests for quite some time, I've studied a lot of temples. I don't usually see oracles attached, right? I do believe that these women, they were usually women who were known to be able to try to divine the future. They existed in ancient Kemet, right? They certainly existed in ancient Kemet. And so I do believe that there are those who attempted to understand how to move forward based on speaking to the wise woman who was able to tell you how to move forward. I will say, however, that when we hear that Alexander the Macedonian was described as the oracle, the son of Amun at the Oracle of Siwa, the sources that say that are Greek. Do I know really what that oracle said? No. Would it be propagandistic and helpful for him to say that he was proclaimed as such? Yes. Might she even feel some pressure to say some nice things to this guy who is getting the boot of the person off of the Kemetic neck? Probably. So I think we have to take all of it with a healthy grain of salt.
Thank you.
If somebody else has a question, take advantage. Not every day you can have JABARI OSAZE.
I have a question. I wanted to know, Jabari or Asar can answer this one. What would you say? What is the difference between? Because it gets a lot of confusing between elder Horus and younger Horus.
He said between
elder Horus, Heru and maybe Heru son of Isis, son of Asar. This is
This is the difference.
and it's difficult.
Yes.
But I enjoy
Now,
it. Listen, folks who are reading the text talk about this a lot. So I don't want to give you the impression that Jabari OSAZE's take on it is the final word. It is not. Because I even, myself and Baba Heru, will sit down and debate this. And sometimes he'll take his side, we'll debate it again, and then we'll switch sides again and debate, because I don't know if there's a definitive argument. But this is the way that I see it. Heru or Heru the Elder, Heru the Great, is supposed to be the personage that comes forward at the same time with his parents. When we see them come out of their parents, Heru is there as well. There's one text that says he was born, but he was held in abeyance. In other words, he's born with his parents, but the divine force said, while you are born, I'm going to hold you back. The way I interpret it is, this is a social commentary on the importance of Heru. That Heru is the child, but he is equal to his parents. That is, I think, what is being said. And then you see Heru, sometimes they call him Heru the Younger, but usually it's Heru, it is translated most as son of As and son of Athar. You'll see that in, for example, the Papyrus of Ani and the Papyrus of Hunefer, I believe. I think they both say that. They're specifically talking about Heru that came through Ast and then does those things that are necessary to bring things back into balance. In my estimation, this is a philosophical designation that one must understand, meaning that Heru is, in some ways, Heru is Asar and also the son of Asar. So this is a complicated concept. Some people would say it's a similar concept to the Trinity, because we hear that Jesus is both the both equal or part of the Trinity, but also the son of one of the members of the Trinity. And I know as a little kid in Catholic school, I was like, how is that possible? So in some ways, this concept is one that predates Christianity.
So just like I said before you joined the show, Brother Jabari, this is Pan-African James. They act like when we make the correlation between Heru and Jesus, that we just pulling this out of our butt. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. These are scholars that have made these correlations. We're just basically parroting what the scholarship says. But we'll have people that'll try to explain away that particular correlation. Like we're crazy. Like we're just trying to make Heru and Jesus the same. And we're not doing this. This is the scholarship doing that. Yeah. Also, I wanted to know why when Alexandra was made Nasut or whatever, why did they want to associate him with Amun? Because we do know that they have different triads or different things based on what temple. So what I'm saying is why I already know the answer to the question, but I'm just asking you for clarity. Why do they want to associate him with the moon, which is the southern code, which comes from Thebes, right? So why do they want to put him with the Theban code instead of the northern code? Is my question.
This is an important question that usually people who have read the history can better understand, and that's why I know he's framing it this way, right? He's throwing the bounce pass, right? But the reason why I think they would do that is because the southern region of Kemet is the origin of the tradition. So if you connect him to the oldest and most powerful iteration of the divine, you are truly saying he is one of us. They could have just said he's Heru. Most kings did. Most kings did. But for them to connect him to the southern region, they were trying to make a commentary. And I think that is what he was doing. Now, let me say once again, I have not found a native text that says, we love him, he came in and saved us, all that. I don't see that, right? I think that those sources are Greek sources. Does that mean that they're incorrect? I'm not saying that either. I could understand why the Kemetic people might be happy that Alexander was there. I could get it, right? Because at least he said, I'm the son of a moon. He didn't say, all this is foolishness, we're going to destroy everything. Right? Which is what the Persians were doing.
Exactly.
And, you know, being a historian, and I know y'all who are passionate about history and historians as well, probably also feel this discomfort. One of my good friends called his son Darius.
Wow.
And I said, he said, and my wife who was sitting there is looking at me doing this.
Hold up, Jabari. For you who don't know, Darius is Alexander's brother. They called him the blackest of blacks.
Well, no, I'm connecting it to Darius of the Persians.
Oh, you talking about Darius the First?
Yes.
Who brother Erie was with.
And so for me,
go ahead.
I'm trying not to say anything bad. Anika's looking at me doing this. Like, please don't say nothing to these. We love these people. They don't know. Please don't. And I'm like, I've heard a lot of black people of that name. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, but Jabari, do you like it? Is it good? And I said, why would you name me after a person that destroys African culture? Blah, blah, blah. And Anika's like, let's just say I did not become the child's godfather.
But you know, that's the whole thing. People don't necessarily know these mythos like we would know these mythos.
Right.
For instance, Jabari just gave you a particular take on the elder Heru.
Right.
There's another take, and I'm gonna not say too much about it because you guys obviously may still debate. Heru in the Edfu story, if I'm not mistaken, at the complex over on it's either on Elephantine Island or the other one. Heru is said to have, and this is Greeks talking as opposed to your Africans talking. He's supposed to have had in the womb, Aset and Asar love each other in the womb of Nut. And so they produce him. So they call him Heru the elder. They also call him Heru the lame, because those two are related. He came out he was blind and he was deaf, but he was better in Ma'at in most instances. You'll also see another rendition of Heru where, and I've showed this picture several times, where Aset becomes a kite, sits on the golden phallus of Asar, Asar being the bee, also representing the plant, also the honey in between them, his golden phallus, and her being the bird. You're looking at the story of the birds and the bees being told live for you. So when you have her swoon her wings and bring him out, Heru is on the side, inside what we call side real time. So Jabari told the story about the solstice the other day, and we obviously celebrated on the 21st, right? Because why? Because Sirius is no longer happening in July. It's happening in August, the 12th this year in particular over Kemet. Because I'm an Ami Unut, I knew because I watched the stars. Now, when that's happening, you're getting solstice. So I'm sure in your congregation as well as ours, I tell everybody, sing the songs of the two sisters, Nebuchadnezzar and Aset, calling their brother back, because nature is starting to grow again. Asar is coming back. We're reviving him and bringing him back to life, because the days are no longer shorter, they're getting longer. These are what these mythos mean. When we do that, and you have the story of those two sisters, if you've ever sang the songs, this is when they start talking about loving Asar, because Asar technically has 3 children. Ampu is his child through Nebuchadnezzar, who disguises herself as her twin sister Aset. His other child will be the elder Heru, if we were to believe the Edfu stories. That would be his first child. And his third child is the Heru that you know, the savior, the hero, Heru, who comes to vanquish his uncle Set, etc., through the mythos. Remember, this is myth, possibly real, if we look at Diodorus Siculus saying that Asar was an actual Ethiopian who came over to do what he did. And then also you have the in the Journal of Egyptian Archaeology. I want to say book 11 or 23. I can't remember which one. They show the excavation sites where you have the Shemsu Asar having war with the Shemsu Set and the Shemsu Haru coming over to defeat them, is where you get the mythos that Manetho sets forth of Ptah happening first, Amun or Ra happening second, his son being Seb, etc., etc., etc. on them. And I'm gonna leave.
I got a question. I got a question for you.
I just want, hold on one second. I just want to get out here and say thanks for having me on. And I said I'm still Chief X, the God Best reincarnated. And I just want to let everybody know the God Best is the greatest Egyptian deity that ever lived. The God Best will whoop all their butts.
I wanted to God Best, by the way.
No, wait, I have to ask Chief X. Chief X, is that you?
Yes, sir. Who's that?
You
come on,
say cool.
No, I remember when you was on the right side of history. Let me just say
I had a debate with you. What?
Jabari just performed a miracle.
I'm still Chief reincarnated. I came back.
Okay.
Let me say this.
I'm happy to hear that.
Pan-African, you echoing, baby.
Let Sekou say something. He haven't said anything yet. Go ahead, Sekou.
Yes, peace and blessing, family.
Hold on, before you go, Sekou. Let me just say
somebody
before you speak, Sekou, I want to apologize.
Just hold that up.
I just wanted to apologize on the part of the Pan-Africans in America for the what was said to you, brother. That's not something that we're trying to. We're not trying to fragment our people like before with saying things like go back to Africa. So I just wanted to apologize for my American Pan-Africans. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. Not for
let me say it better, Pan-African, okay? James. Go back to Africa and take me with you. Take me with you, brother. I need to come with you.
Correct. Yeah.
Take me too.
That's better. Yeah.
Take me too.
Yeah, take me.
Whenever they tell me go back to Africa, I just laugh because I hear the European in them speaking. Not them. Because this is what the European keeps saying to them. So they are repeating, regurgitating the same thing. I got land. I'm from Liberia. I got property in Liberia. Ooh. I have my land. I go back to Liberia all the time. So I don't understand when you say go back to Africa, what are you talking about? I go back all the time. I got my family. I got property. One of these days I will come get Jabari and take him to Liberia. So
listen, I haven't been to Liberia. I want to come, brother.
Yes. So, gentlemen, you see what's happening. Yesterday, day before yesterday, we've been going through all this. Let us be sincere to ourselves. We can't build a community without discipline, without saying the truth to each other. What Brother Garfield did was very wrong. And to see people backing him up, even if you disagree with Jabari, you should be honest enough. Intellectual honesty is very, very important. This is what is needed. We need to look at each other and say, brother, I love you, but you are wrong. We've all been out there. Jabari went out of his way to help with the technical difficulties. He didn't have to do it, but he was there. And this brother was called and said, come and join the debate. He said, oh, now something went wrong. I can't join. All that time, you had all that time to call and say, I'm sorry, I have family emergency. I can't. You did it before, on the eve of Christmas, and they granted your request. So why do you think if you do it again, they won't grant your request? Right. It's obvious he didn't want to attend the debate, and he had a reason for it, just to come back later and put up flyers and laugh at all of us. Because if he was sincere, he would have come out and state an apology and then just go off the line. But he came out there and made caricatures and make some kinds of posters and start defending and start even mocking Jabari, who came out to speak. This is insincere. This is indiscipline. And for me, I was really sad when I heard yesterday Sarnetta wanted to give him time to come and speak. I was very sad that Sarnetta shouldn't have done that. What he has done is very wrong. He needs to come and apologize Don't give him cake. Don't give him cold water to cool down. No, he's wrong. That's all. Don't babysit him.
Yeah.
You see?
And say
You
cool,
see,
I've
my
never
brother,
heard of.
I'm one of the person, I don't like personality cult. I joined a political party in my country. I was the diaspora leader of Economic Freedom Fight of Liberia here in the diaspora, but I resigned because there was an idea to raise a personality cult. I love democratic ideas. But JABARI is someone we should appreciate in our community. It's not a personality cult issue. I don't know the brother. We've never spoken on phone.
Right.
Have you ever heard this brother get angry and start calling people nigger on the channel? Never. Have you ever heard him, even no matter how you get under his skin, start insulting you using street language? He has never done that. He has maintained discipline. This is the model our youth are looking for. This is the role model the young people are looking. You may not agree with him. You don't have to agree with his trying of my eye, but you should see the discipline in the man. If every scientist will be like Ankh, I don't want to be a scientist. I'm telling you the truth.
Hey, I say cool. I've never heard. I've never seen. I'm gonna get out of here. I just want to say this. I've never heard anybody schedule a funeral on Christmas Eve.
Okay, that's it. We've heard an impossible story. So for me, really, thank you, JABARI, for what you've done, and we continue to build a community. For me, what I always tell people when it comes to ancient Kush and Kemet, I tell all Black people, you don't have, Egypt is not a ancient Kemet or Kush. The study of this civilization is not a religious theology. Yeah, there is spirituality in it. If you want to study, that's fine. But as Diop said, Kush Kemet is to Africa where Greco-Roman civilization is to Europe. How is that difficult for you to understand? One of the most important, one of the modern leader of France, General de Gaulle, he said, French, first of all, is about the white race, the Greco-Roman civilization and the Judeo-Christian value. He said, that's what we stand on, and we're ready to die for it. The entire Europe, they stand on Greco-Roman civilization. They stand on their on these values. Whether you're from Italy, you're from Germany, they don't care. Every one of them begin with the Greco-Roman civilization. Yeah. Were they all Greeks? Were they all Romans? No. Mm-hmm. Do white Americans have any genetic link to Greco-Roman people? No, they don't. But when we revive an African civilization, then you ask, oh, are you Egyptian? Are you from Nubia? Did you ask the president of USA if he's a Greek? Mm-hmm. Did you ask him when you are using democracy that you will talk about every day, are you a Greek? Mm. So it's ridiculous what people are doing. This civilization belongs to us, and we have to revive it. If you want to be spirit, you want to explore spirituality, go and explore your classical spirituality. If you want to advance in philosophy, go and begin with Amenemhotep. Go and begin with all these great philosophers. Go and begin with them. The beginning of African intellectual inquiry, according to Molefi Asante, should be the pyramid of Egypt and not the Odyssey and Iliad of Greek and Rome. This is what we are trying to tell you. Be whatever religion you want to be, but honor your ancestral legacy and get inspired with it. This is all we want. And what I'll say lastly before I hang up, we will not always agree. There will be no day in history where all Black people will practice African spirituality. It's not going to happen anymore. Let us not deceive ourselves. There will be no day in history where we all will go to the same temple. But there's one thing we can do. We can put our interests first as a people. Mm. We can value our civilization, even when we disagree with certain elements within it. We can value our ancestral culture and build something that protects every Black child everywhere. This is all we're looking for. Thank you.
Mm. Sekou, before you go, I want to say something to you, brother. I've heard you speak many times before, a couple of times on Sonetta. I'm the old timer out of the bunch here, but man, what I see in you is intelligence. You got a strong head, and you love and believe in your people, no matter if your people are here in America, the Africans here in America, the Africans in France, wherever the African brothers are, you love them. And I can tell just from the way you talk, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and just keep hooking up with people like on this panel right now, because this is what we need to get. You know, we need to get in contact with the rest of our brothers and sisters that don't quite understand. I heard somebody said, I won't call the name, but you're gonna know who I'm talking about. That hey, this is not your people. You know, speak on your people and let us speak on our people. You know, I thought that was so wrong, and it just hurt me so bad, because we are ancestors, where our ancestors come from Africa, right where you live at. And you know, I've been thinking and just trying to realize, you know, what it was all about. And I learned through the slavery and all of that. You know, I got a good understanding of it now. But I just appreciate you, man. That's all I want to say, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Let me say something real quick, if I may.
Brother Sanka,
Yeah, can I have a?
Okay, go ahead, Brother Sanka. Go ahead.
Sekou, you have to realize you're part of what Marcus Garvey had envisioned anyway. You're in the place he tried to take us to, which is Liberia, and he wanted a global African mind. And so you are African mind speaking on this continent. At no point in time should we feel okay to say, go back to Africa, unless, like I said, is followed by the phrase, please take me with you when you go. So you are that dream realized when you come over here. We are that dream realized when we go over there. When we have good discourse, then it starts to become a realization. So anybody trying to step on that just because, man, you ain't going to my project solving no problems. So what? If you're the path to your projects, take me there. Let's see. Let's find out. Let's see what's there. Because if you help solve the issues that were happening in Liberia, you definitely can relate to a solution that's happening in Brownsville. You can definitely relate to a situation that's happening in Oakland or LA or Harlem, 144th and St. We could take you anywhere. We just finished watching documentaries with General Butt Naked, et cetera, et cetera. We know what's going on. So anytime an African voice is raised against another in that fashion, we have to put our foot down. So when Shaka brought it up, I was like, brother, we talking about Kananu. But it was a necessary point. And so I had this, I just shut up. I sat back. I let it go down. And I was like, this is going to derail the conversation, but it apparently needed to be had because I didn't even hear him say that because I didn't see his show the other night. So
and just in case you don't know what we're talking about, Brother Sekou, just earlier, I'm sorry if you didn't finish Osamka. Earlier, I was on Smash Rockwell and Unc was on there. And because I was told that he told you to go back to Africa, I said, you know, Unc, I was told you said that. And he said, yes. And I said, why would you say that? So we spoke. And that's why I made a video earlier entitled Brother Unc changed, but I still got love for him. And other people also told him, including Smash, that, you know, he's wrong about that. They don't agree with that.
Yeah, that hurt me too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, come on, no. And if I hear some continental Africans saying to Unc, go back to America, or you don't have no, I wouldn't like that either. You know, that's too much for me. You know, so I got love for Unc, but on this one, I cannot agree. It's not possible. Just like when
that's why I felt. That's why I felt like it was that I should apologize, even though it's not coming from him. I felt that it was necessary because that hurt me when I heard that. I know what Dr. Clark told us. We are stronger together. Like, why would you disassociate yourself from a billion people of your people? And you are only 48 million. Why we are stronger together than apart. Dr. Clark taught us that. So for him to say that, it just like it's like, did he hear what Dr. Clark said? You know what I'm saying? Because even though I've never met Dr. Clark or Dr. Ben, those are my teachers because I follow the history that they provided to our people after being lost. I value that. I love them. I'm embarrassed that they were on the planet when I was on the planet and didn't know of them. You know what I'm saying? Well, this is what I have to deal with after them. After what happened, you know what I'm saying? What happened to us is a traumatic thing, And for us to be arguing about what we're going through instead of coming with the solution base, and a lot of us, we're in agreement on things on this panel, I think that we would have a better conversation trying to figure out how to help Jabari instead of trying to tear him down. Because when they close down those temples, they close down our economic system. And they opened up fairs. So we have to understand that those temples are part of our war chest. And we had, just imagine if we were not giving our money tied into Christianity and Islam, and we were all tied into an African structure, we could pay for our own war chest and we could defend ourselves. We would be a lot stronger. But they got us into their systems, and we're paying into their systems, and we're actually paying for our own enslavement. That's the way I see it. So with that said, I yield.
Yeah, Brother Shaka, you see, I'm not hurt when, how they call one of the brother who first told me go back to Africa. It's not really Ang, it's Reggie. Can you believe that? Reggie was the first to tell me. He said, don't speak on African American. You should go back to Africa. You don't know. You say your grandma, you don't know your African grandma, God, whatever he said. So I said, you are here studying the pharaohs of Egypt. You are studying the Medunetta. You are studying, and you are telling me to go back as if it's some nasty place that you are trying to tell me to go, and that's where you are studying. That's what you do all day on the internet. So the contradiction is right in front of you. I'm just your brother. You like it, you don't like it. It's not something, it's not a choice. I'm your brother. You like it, you don't like it, that it is what it is. If people could choose what genetic line they should come from, maybe some people would have chosen spirits, but they wouldn't choose certain people. But that's how nature says, you'll be my brother, and that's it. In Africa, there are people who think like that as well. Recently, when the Ghana year of return finished, they were interviewing people on the street, and they were like, what did we gain? Did we gain more money? Did we gain? So I was like, what the heck? They were talking about what they gained, what money they got. So the same thing you see over there is not just unique to African American. In Africa, we have our garbage as well. We got them among us. They don't know what time it is. They don't know what we are talking about. They don't know there's an existential threat on the melanin skin. They don't understand the struggle. The thing is about all this petty stuff they're talking about. Our entire existence is being threatened in the last 500 years. And we are here joking, talking about you go back there and you go over there. The black man is the same, whether he's in India, he's in China, he's in America, he's in Africa. His condition is the same threat we all are facing. So the thing is beyond that. So I don't blame when they say I laugh, because I know we have some of them in Africa as well who don't know the contribution of African Americans to the entire black race. They don't even know about it.
But
they don't even know.
You
see, I understand.
I spoke to Reggie actually when I was inside the studio about that thing, and he I don't want to get into his personal situation with health, but he was contaminated with the virus called Garfield virus. That's why he said that. But I want to acknowledge the presence of a Dagger Squad member. This is Rabon. And he wrote, oh damn, it's a world tour. But if it was the other way around, they will be doing a world tour right now. They will be screaming victory, and they will not accept any excuses. But Rabon, I want to say my condolences for the death of your Dagger Squad. And you see, I'm still learning your theology, your teachings, Mustafa Muhammad, the Indian guy. But it is what it is. Go ahead, Brother Jabari.
If I could add something really small to what Sekou, whenever Sekou speaks, I think he's younger than me. And I'm going to say he makes me feel better about what direction we might be going in, right? So,
I'd be really proud.
Let me say that it's really a shame when people make those comments, because first of all, they sound like, the Bull Connors and others, the Tom Who white racist who were turning water hoses on us, right? So now they're mouthing the words of their oppressor, right? Which is sad. But the other part of it that is so amazing to me is that some folks who say those things don't seem to recognize that when we are able to connect Africans throughout the world, we'll then truly be able to solve the problems in the Harlem, in the Harlems, in the Detroits, in the Philadelphias, and the Chicagos, all throughout the United States and all throughout the world. The reality is that the global model is what everyone else is using to empower themselves. If you just look at China, China moved 500,000 people out of poverty in 20 years. It's unheard of. It should be called the Chinese miracle. And one of the ways they did that is by becoming more involved internationally, and particularly in Africa. We have to recognize that instead of trying to say that we are different, of course we have differences. We should be saying, what are our similarities? And as we see our similarities, we will see our successes. When you go to the Congo, when you go to South Africa, when you go to places that are rich in mineral wealth, when you go to Nigeria, you're going to see a cast of European characters sitting to try to control resources. And they're trying to bring those powerful resources back to where they are. They're embracing a global model. Unfortunately, it's a neo-colonialist model. And so when we think that we should just talk about what's happening here in the hood, we don't seem to realize that that's exactly what they've wanted us to do. They want us to look at things as problems on this block. And the thing that really pains me is some of the people that are mouthing it are folks that used to be able to educate our people. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure what happened. It feels like they all, because they hate me so much, they're willing to say ridiculous things. But I'm not sure what happened that has twisted them in this manner, that they now say things against their teachers, against their ancestors, against their people. How did this happen? I would much rather work with Ankh, work with Reggie, work with Rob Bourne, work with Garfield. I would much rather work with them than to argue with them.
They disagree with you historically, Jabari. So you're not going to be able to do that. See, what we got to realize, Jabari,
I didn't think they did. It's now that I feel that way. I didn't think that we were on the different page.
Yeah, it all came out. So it's a historical difference. And see, like, we think that this is just some type of history thing that we talking about, but this is actually for real. These people are actually Hebrews, and we need to start treating these people accordingly. They're enemies of the state. It's sad. You know what I'm saying? They believe that they're Hebrews, but they don't want to use the chronology of history. Like, I was talking to a Hebrew on another show, and I asked him, how does he start his history with the Adam and Eve story or a rib story, when you know, because you've been listening to us for like a year now, when you know this history, this 2,000 years before that, why are you stuck there? Why don't you discard that and go back to something that predates it by 2,000 years? Yeah. Does that not make sense for us as a people? Because all that we're looking for is the chronology of history. Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben, Sheikh Anta Diop, they put us on this trajectory. I don't understand what's taking us so long to do something I think is simple. I only have a high school education, and I get it. So I don't understand. We don't have to get a college education to understand chronology. Somebody gave us a chronology of 2,000 years. We got a history of 6,000 years. How hard is it?
Yeah,
you're right. Hey, one thing I want to say, and I'm gonna shut up, y'all. I just got to say something to Jabari. I don't want to. I couldn't do it if I wanted to, but I don't want to make you feel small, Jabari, just because I said something to Sekou. And I know looks like Sekou left, but Jabari, man, I've been watching you a long time, bro. I think I came to your Facebook page and I said something, and you got right back with me, you know. And I was surprised about that. I say, I used to watch you on Sonnet, and I say, man, I just saw that this was his page, and I just wanted to go check it out and see what he's doing and what he's really all about, because I like the way he talked. The brother's mannerable. That's the way I was brought up too. My grandma like that. Went to church, and I want to say something about this church thing too. a while back, but it's gone now. But the way they taught us in church that Jesus was a part of that Trinity, man. You know, he was Jesus, he was man, and he was God. That they taught us all that stuff. I mean, you know, he could walk through walls. You know, I mean, they really had us messed up, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, and that's just crazy. And I'm glad that that's over with me now, because you know that's just out of my system now. But bro, I just wanted to say that I appreciate you more than anything, but just mainly for just hanging in there fighting, because that's what it's all about. You're gonna get hit, you're gonna get knocked down, you're gonna get talked about. And I've been looking for a while, and it's just like the young man said earlier, all that stuff that they done threw at you, man, but you always standing there. I've seen you get a little irritated, but you never broke stride. You know, you never let it get you out of whack the way you start doing, like a lot of us. And I put myself there too, because I can get there too. You get the cussing and fussing and calling names and talking about your mama and everything else. You know, I never seen you do that. I say, this brother here, he got charisma. It's something he got that a lot more of our people need to have, and whatever I can do to help promote him and just be a part of what he's doing, I would love that. And I'm just glad that we got a chance to meet now. And I'm James Powell, man, and I be commenting in the chat. Some of the stuff I say, some of the people don't like, because I try to be straight up. I'm like Shaka. I'm gonna just tell it like it is. I like to tell the truth, but the truth hurts sometimes, man. You know, it don't feel good. And I'm gonna leave it alone now. I'm through with it.
He got that my
brother.
Can I ask a question? May I ask a question, please? Thank you. With Brother Shaka being a teacher of the Meta Nature, Brother Jabari, your wife is a teacher of Meta Nature as well. Recently, I believe it's the African Union that made Swahili, they declared, would be the universal African language, or the Pan-African language, or suggested one. And I think there have been strides made toward that end. What are your thoughts on that, and how can the conscious community assist with that ideal?
That's a very interesting question. Let me just first say that before I ever studied the Meta-Netter, I was studying Kiswahili. I took 3 years of Kiswahili at Cornell. In fact, so did Anika. Now, unfortunately, when I took those 3 years, I didn't know Anika very well. And when she took the 3 years, I already couldn't speak Kiswahili anymore. It would have been better if we had taken it together. She's a little younger than me, so we didn't take it at the same time. At least we would have been able to speak to each other. But I want you to know that even African Americans made the argument that Kiswahili should be the language in the 70s, the late 60s, early 70s. That's the reason why Kwanzaa utilizes Kiswahili, right? It's because many people in the world made the estimation, many people in the global African world made the estimation that Kiswahili is the most spoken language on the most spoken African language on the African continent. That's the estimation they made, right? And so I think that the more that we can do to learn to be able to communicate on the continent, the better. Now, I'm going to say to you, I'm learning Fanti because I'm in Ghana all the time. I'm a chief in Ghana. Anika and I have a house in Ghana that's almost complete. We expect to spend a lot of time in Ghana. We hope to have dual citizenship in Ghana very shortly. Fanti is kicking my butt, y'all. It's kicking my butt. It's kicking my butt. So I think that whatever language we choose, we need to attempt to communicate with our folks on the continent in the language that they speak. Because when you're able, I know this is the reason why I want to know Fanti. When I go to Ghana, I don't want to be the black guy that is speaking the language of the European. Now, I know that most people in Ghana speak English. Most people in Ghana speak English because the British colonized there as well, right? I want to also be the guy in the market speaking Fanti, because I know that at my installment, when I became a chief, when they were doing the announcement for me to come forward to become a chief, they said, Ago. Some of you know the response to Ago is Ame. It's like, do you hear me? And it's I hear, right? I was walking to the front and I said, Amen. And I'm telling you, all the people around me went, and started clapping. I only said one word. And what they were really saying is, we respect that you respect us enough to try to learn how we communicate. So that is why we must learn as many languages as we can. I'm going to close with this. In Ghana, they say, if you meet a black man and he speaks one language, what should you call him? Do you know what they say the answer is? African American. We got to change that, y'all. We got to change that. We have to
Hold on, Jabari, you wrong for that one.
We laugh.
Yeah, he said African American.
We got to get to the point where we're able to communicate.
Because the African brothers that I speak with, they know, like, I got a brother named George Oding. He speaks 5 languages.
Yeah.
And then I have a brother from Ivory Coast. He speaks 3 languages.
Yeah.
But he taught me that French and Spanish is closely to the same. That's how he was able to learn Spanish so quickly, because French and Spanish are sister languages. I did not know that because, I only speak 1 language. So, that's interesting.
We need to have classes in the hood. And we have to, as we teach the classes, we have to help people understand why they're learning it. Because the first thing they're going to say is, I'm on 131st Street. Why should I learn Kiswahili? We have to explain to them that our job is to reconnect with the continent. It is the wealthiest landmass in the world. When we go back and connect with our African family on the continent, we're going to enrich Harlem and the Harlems of Africa. That's what we're going to do, because we're going to work together to be able to empower ourselves. With that, I'm going to say peace. Sonetta calling me. He's got to have a reason.
He got a show going on. He's on a show right now. So,
Jabari, I want to thank you for coming in. I mean, I've tried to call you. I sent you a text message. Yeah, I sent you a text message.
Yesterday.
The email I will receive the error message. Even one time I replied to one of your comments and I said, I try to reach you, but, keep up the good work. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Brother Shaka,
yeah.
Let me say this before I go. You are one of the most dangerous brothers in our community. Why? Because he has been listening for a long time, and when you say something, he's going to say, wait, but you said this on this day. Here's the video.
And he's going to have the documentation.
He is one of the most dangerous brothers in our community. And so I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that Sonetta's audience now knows about you. He was talking to me about Shaka. I thought he was talking about Shaka almost for a second. Because Sonetta love him some Shaka Ma'at forever. So I'm just honored that now we have a more global. I know Rob Moore was kind of making a joke, but he was also making a comment. The reality is that this internet is going to allow Africans all over the world to connect on our interest, and that is powerful. That is powerful.
Yes.
I'm honored to be on. I promise I will communicate with you. I'm watching your shows ardently, Shaka. So whenever you would like me to come and chat with you privately or publicly, please let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all need to leave information so y'all can get in contact.
Yeah. The private chat.
I'm gonna put my phone number.
Okay. So.
And the best email to reach me at in the private chat. Okay, and this is for Shaka and any other folks on the panel, please.
Okay, so
I need to send you a flag out there, Jabari. I put Hey Roo on the Pan-African flag. I'm the one who put. Yeah. See, after I found out that they stole our history, I put Hey Roo on the flag and said, it's time for us to come back. You know what I'm saying? I was the first one to put the original.
Please.
Excuse me?
You selling it online?
Yes, sir.
What website?
PanAfricanDesigns.com.
I got it.
I put it in the back chat.
Okay, please do.
But
please.
Yeah, Pan-African Design. That flag is that's what I think I'll be remembered for in history, because that is us, raising the flag back up and getting ready to take our history back. That was what the symbolism was, of me doing that, because I started to see Hey Roo on other people's flag. And I said, well, hold on, we need to take that back. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was on. Hold on.
Powerful, brother. Yes.
Yeah, Jabari, sorry. The first email there's a mistake because I wanted to type it by hand, but then I decided to copy and paste. So it is the second one. Oh, we have Mr. Vegas. You know Mr. Vegas, brother Jabari, the reggae artist.
I don't
Is
think
that?
so.
Oh, is that you, Mr. Vegas?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, thank you for coming in, man. I'm honored this evening. Jabari, Mr. Vegas, feel free to speak, brother. Wagwan. Everything, Chris?
Everything,
I gotta roll.
everything is good, man. Everything is
What's
good.
up, Sonny?
I just have a quick question.
Do I, Heno? Do I?
I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Feel free to speak, brother, Mr. Vegas.
Sorry, brother Vegas. Go ahead.
Oh, we don't hear you right now, brother, Mr. Vegas. We don't hear you right now. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please try to like leave the platform and come back right away because you're not muted. We heard you first, but now we don't hear you. I think the brother's gonna come back. And
What's up,
the
Chef?
brother, yeah, what's up, Chef? While the brother gets his connection
Yeah, can you
ready.
hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear
Can you
now.
hear me?
Feel free to speak, brother. Yes,
Yeah,
Mr.
we can
Vegas,
hear you.
feel free.
Yeah,
We can
man.
hear now. Go ahead.
Yeah. Bless up to everyone on the panel. I just have a quick question. I don't know if Brother Jabari left, but of course I've learned so
He
much
just
from
left.
Brother Jabari. So I had a quick question for him. So it seems like he left because I got kicked out. My Wi-Fi went down.
Yeah, he just
But
left
I
now.
catch him on. I just wanted to ask him about the hieroglyphics and Dr. Walter Williams. What he did in the discussion with Senate another time because I have some questions for him
Well,
on that.
I don't mind
Alright?
answering that
Big
question.
up
I mean,
yourself.
I teach the
Been a
Medu
great-
nature. You're breaking up a little
Go
bit.
ahead,
I heard
brother.
that you said you wanted to ask about the Medu nature, and I've been giving Medu nature classes for a few years actually. And what I would like to tell you is I respectfully disagree. The elder Walter Williams, I bought both his books and I read them. And for example, I've been sharing this video many times, and I don't know if you want me to play it, but in the Louvre Museum, there is an artifact dated 300 BC, and we have the name of Alexander written in hieroglyphic. So since it is 3000 BC, it means that it is 2000 years before the Rosetta Stone was found. So it's very unlikely that it just happens to be a coincidence that they spelled the name Alexander in hieroglyphic. And without being long-winded, the word Ibani that we all use comes from the Medinet Hebony. I made a video about that. We have the Westcar Papyrus. We have the University of St. Andrews that has a hieroglyphic transcript. The word, the given name Susan comes from the Medinet. It means lotus. Even the word Pharaoh that we all use, it comes from the Medu nature, per a, great house. So we have plenty of words that we use even in English that comes from the Medu nature. Even the word Egypt itself, it comes from Hut Kapata, the house of the cow of Ptah. So it's very unlikely, and really I would say it's impossible that we have some words that we still use in the English language that pass via the Greek and yet claim that it hasn't been deciphered. But feel free to add on, brother Mr. Vigas.
Is he there?
What was the brother's question? I'm sorry.
Well, from what I could hear, because he was breaking up, he said that he wanted to ask Jabari what his take was about the Walter Williams and the hieroglyphics when he was on Saneda. And but Mr. Vigas, we don't hear you right now. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah. So Shaka, I just want to say this really quick, right? Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we hear
yes,
you.
Sir.
Yeah, so you know, Mr. Vegas is my brother, and I'm just happy that he's here to hop on and talk with you guys. So me and him, we're planning to go visit Dr. Walter Williams, right? But I would also like for you guys to have a dialogue with him about that because he is like steadfast on his position. It would be nice to have a dialogue with him because he was having a dialogue with Reggie on Sanetter, and I don't think Reggie countered him or say challenged him respectfully enough, for him to change his position. I don't think he's gonna change his position though, but we definitely plan on seeing him this year. But I would definitely want you guys to have a dialogue with him about that, because I wouldn't want him to transition holding that going to the grave. Trust me, because he's highly respected and thing. But we definitely need to talk to him about that one.
There's two things about our big brother Walter Williams, right? One of the things is, and this is why you didn't see anybody on that panel disrespect him. He's one of our elders who was writing the books for us that we needed at those times. His particular stance on that point, he might take to his grave just because that's one of the bigger things that he's known for. Unfortunately, I actually think he already knows just from when Ujao and company were having the discourse with him. I was a little bit involved in the chat. So he definitely, and I wouldn't disrespect the elder regardless, though I would show some things that neither one of them did. Hold on, baby. Hold on one sec. So I would, there's other things that we would have. I would ask him just to see what he says, which would make it more humorous, such as some of the Greek statements. Looking at the Palermo stone, asking if Hebrew was deciphered, because Hebrew was actually deciphered using Medu Neter and Greek. So
hello?
these are some.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
We hear you, Brother Vegas.
We can hear you.
So this is some of the things we would have to ask him concerning.
This is actually an interesting conversation, and I think I would definitely love to speak to you, Matt Moore, and the brother that was just speaking. I really want to pick your brain some more on this topic, because I'm definitely with Dr. Walter Williams based on the information that he posited about the symbols and the chronology and the error that or the ancient times days, where it would be impossible for people to understand or know what people were speaking or what they were saying when we only have symbols to decipher. So I would definitely want to come back on your program. Imhotep had said it to me earlier, but I was finishing up my bachelor's, so I'll definitely would like to come on the program and pick your guys' brains on that. You and the brother that was just speaking, even Jabari,
Absolutely.
Brother Jabari. And as Imhotep just said, we're because me and Young Fear was supposed to go and visit Dr. Walter Williams, but unfortunately that did not happen. But we're gonna go see him. So I'll definitely come back and basically give the information what I inferred from him, and we can speak about it.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Anytime. I really love to talk about it. I mean, I don't know if you have a little bit of time right now, but the Medu Neter was spoken when the Greeks were still there, and we are talking about symbols indeed.
Respectfully, I wanted to keep that information so we can have so we can learn from it, and instead of just because I'm a person who we don't like to waste information, so don't waste it right now.
Okay.
Oh, it's not wasted. This is all good. These are actually known facts. Like, we got to talk about the Hittite letters between the Hittites and the Egyptians, and how can we still read Hittite and they could understand it, but all of a sudden,
right? But what I'm saying, if you put it forward now, and I'm not in the position to
no,
to
we're not
counter
testing you
your
with
argument.
the questions, so you're good to go. We're just making
Right, but before we can even put it forward and call it facts, at least I think someone who has some form of contention or disagreement with the hypothesis, could
but you don't need
at
to
least
be in a
have a say.
location to disagree in order for us to know that these actually existed. So we got you.
No, because I would like to put forward the sources, right?
Yeah, we get the Hittite letters. In fact, here I'll pull one up and you can research it when you get home.
No, I'm saying I would like to basically be able to provide my sources to disagree with you.
on
Yeah,
whatever
like
you're
I
putting
said, you
forward.
want like a full
Any way
discourse,
you
but
please,
it's
sir.
not
Any way you
necessary to have
please.
a full discourse at this moment because you don't have your
Right,
material.
right,
But
exactly.
that doesn't mean
So
we can't speak on it. We're going to
no,
discuss it
but
because you brought it
because
up.
I am on with you, because if I'm on with you now and you're saying
Uh-huh.
it's facts, you know,
Oh yeah,
that's a whole different story. You understand what I'm saying? So I would like to challenge that, your position on that. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
But I
When you
cannot
get
do
to
that
your
at this time.
location, you can,
So we
but
can
at the moment, you can't. Correct. So we're with you.
exactly.
You just can't do it
So
now, but that
I'm
doesn't mean
definitely,
we're going to stop
I'm
talking
definitely.
about it, right?
No,
Go
I'm
ahead, brother.
definitely no, but no, I'm not saying you're not supposed to talk about your
Right.
facts. What I'm saying, with me having this conversation now, and you're saying facts, you see what I'm
I mean,
saying?
you'll disagree, but you'll come back when we actually have the discussion.
Exactly. Yeah, man. So
For
give
sure.
thanks, big up on yourself. You know, I always tune into the program. Big up on yourself.
Mr.
Absolutely.
Vegas,
Yeah, man.
Mr.
Blessings,
Vegas.
blessings, Sir Vegas.
Oh, okay. Are you still there, Mr. Vegas? Oh, too late. Well, I left
I think
my
he left
email
Shaka.
address.
There was something you wanted to say to him?
Yes, I left my email address in the private chat. But I think you have it already. Don't you have it already?
Yeah, I do have it. So I'll just give it to him, and he can reach out to you.
I can call free of charge in and I've received your email, Brother Pan African James. In America, now in Jamaica, I don't think it's part of my payment plan, but I can call free of charge in America. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, we know we have WhatsApp, we have we can even do private live stream, so we'll see whenever he's available. But I would love to have the conversation anytime he's ready. Oh well, brothers, feel free to add on. I love this conversation. It's lovely.
I just
really
wanted
happy.
to say something real quick before I hop out.
Yes.
So, in the context of the debate between Jabari and Garfield, or prior to it happening, I kind of saw a chink in Garfield's armor. Whereas, the whole title of the debate, Stolen, I think it got a lot of people hyped up. And I think that's where there are a lot of misconceptions, because when we're talking about academia, there's the word called plagiarism, which carries the same connotation. But because of our understanding of the word stolen, they thought that like certain concepts that the Greeks might have taken, or the Assyrians might have taken, it wasn't plagiarism. So I noticed when Jabari called him out on that to say plagiarism means stolen, I think he realized that his argument cannot stand. So I think he kind of got a bit disenfranchised there, or he got a bit disappointed, whereas he realized that the word plagiarism, that was a key word as well. Like we can't just say stolen, and that's it. Once we use plagiarism, then it's a whole bigger argument, and it permeates through all these culture as it relates to their appropriation from the Nile Valley civilization. So hey, I wanted the debate. It didn't happen, but hey, I guess there will always be another time. Who knows?
I mean, I don't know about another time. I mean, Jabari is free to do what he wants. If it was me, I'll move on to some other things. I mean, it's it's like it's just too funny. Or the way everything transpired. And now he got to study the slide, and he can. I mean, I've been telling people he's a neophyte. He was scared, and he came up with some strange excuse, and that's really it. And Pastor Bennett now, he's definitely looking very scared. I mean, how many questions does he ask Jabari? It's like a questionnaire every time he's in front of Jabari. So he's gonna get that work. And once again, whoever knows Jabari, and I forgot, I didn't think about that, but Jabari, if you're listening, please try to get a date as soon as possible, because he's buying time. Pastor Bennett is buying time.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Because Pastor Bennett, like, you know what the sad thing is, that some of these guys, they don't want to debate the information. I think it's more based on there's just some jealousy and some hatred, and it's just sad though because as brothers we can just bang on the information. It doesn't have to get personal, and that is where we see it at. It is very personal right now, and I think Pastor Bennett is going down that rabbit hole as well, where it becomes personal, where he has an agenda, you know, to try to discredit Jabari. And it doesn't have to go that way. You know, bang on the information. You know, don't take it personal. You know, that's what I have to say.
I'm gonna give our brother some homework. You should look up the Ramses writings to Hattusilus. It's a joint treaty. I think it's 3,000 gods they swore in front of, something like that. And this is crazy. This is the Hittite information concerning, not to mention the Amarna letters. So you've got several discussions with different cultures understanding ancient Egyptian, and they have treaties written back and forth with Egyptian transcripts in them, which is where they got most of the letters from before they got a hold of what they call the Palermo stone and the Rosetta stone. So when you see these conversations happening and no one wants to address them, we have to say, how does he understand what he's saying if this is not deciphered? How did he know what to write him back if it's not deciphered? How are they having this conversation with ancient Egyptian writing if it's not deciphered? If you don't
How did the
understand each other,
Greek philosophers even studied?
Yeah.
How did the Greek philosophers study down there before the invasion and stuff like that?
Exactly. How does Plotinus say stuff like, I was taught by so-and-so, so-and-so taught so-and-so, and they name their Egyptian teachers, which we never venerate, as the teachers of the things Plotinus revealed, the things that Diodorus revealed. All of these guys were begging to get there. When you talk about medical history in ancient Persia, remember Darius the First went over there, Erie, our brother Erie. He said, Darius, if you will restore the per-uncs so that they give their proper respects concerning the Necharu, and you pay homage to the priests economically, I will teach your people how to be doctors. And that's how Persia starts to get their better doctors, because I don't know if they had them before that time. Persians came over, Darius the First, he gets with Erie. I believe this is on the Eber medical papyrus, or one of the medical papyruses, and you can see in the beginning before he starts to go over medical information. So this is known. You can't talk to people if you can't read their language. And it says, and then I think we have brought up another discussion where the Egyptian brothers are saying, we are, in fact, Erie is one of them, but there's another brother. They say all the Egyptian priests know everybody else's languages, and they translate for other cultures that are around. I can't remember which one that's on, but we'll pull it all up. We can pull it all up just so you can have that information. And our brother Walter Williams, respect our elder, and we love the work you did. We just disagree on this point. That's it.
That's right. All right, family. Listen, I'm gonna run out. You know, greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Shaka. You know, we keep in touch, and all the best, family.
Thank you very much, brother Grandmaster Imhotep. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up as well. So we have Sunshine. Would you like to make any closing remarks?
No, brother. Just thank you for having me on. I appreciate all the information that you all have helped me with. God bless you all. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you very much. Osaimka has gone already. So, brothers and sisters, we have 82 people online. We had about 140 people at some point. I really love the conversation. Now, you know what's funny is that those guys are being disingenuous and saying strange things, doing strange things. When I was blocked, I made a video talking about the censorship, and that's when Sanetta came on my platform and he invited me to his platform. And this time I heard some very disingenuous stuff, so I decided to speak on it, even though I went live earlier. And here Jabari came on, and then Mr. Vegas came on, and I never had that many people in attendance while live streaming. So that's beautiful. I just want to do this. All right. So, brothers and sisters, I want to thank Junior for the cash app. I've received one cash app, but it's okay. I'm very glad about the live stream. But if some of you feel generous and you appreciate the work that I've been doing for all those years, it's been actually um 18 years. In April, it will be 19 years. Um, the Ferretis wrote, "Great job, Shaka. I was glad to see Jabari on the panel. You worked your way into this community in no time." Well, it was 19 years. I lost many accounts. I lost thousands of subscribers, and sad thing is that it was bad people who did that, who flagged me back then. But that was then, people say, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And the most important is to share the accurate information. So whoever wants to learn the Medu nature, remember that I'm giving classes, and for some of you might not know, but hold on. Okay, I would do that because there's 70 people online now. So hold on. Usually only the members of the channel can post in the chat, but I made an exception today. I wanted everybody to have the opportunity to come. I expected to have more supporters of Garfield, but at the end of the day, they are used to being on their own platform. You know, folks hated on Shaka back then. It's only 1K, for me. 2K is just Shaka Amos, a good brother as well. So because he was not from the usual places. I mean, I faced that. I faced what Sekou faced. I faced it as well. But that was then. That was then. I mean, sometimes people will say anything, to get at you. But yes, I made an exception for the chat. But you will notice that you will have this link that will be pinned. So it's a way to support me as well. It avoids the trolls. I had to deal with some trolls earlier. And when I say troll, I don't mean people who disagree with me. I mean people who post messages of sexual natures and links to sexual websites. So it's only $3 a month, which is $36 a year. There's no obligation. People can stop at any time, and I don't know the information, the personal information. I do not know the first name, the last name, the phone number, the email address, the postal address. All I know is the YouTube username. That's all. YouTube handles all of that. So that's a good way to support me and to participate in the chat on a regular basis. What I would like to do is to go through the Medu Nature. I have a fair bit of pictures and videos from different museums in several different countries, and that's what I would love to do the most. Thank you, Jerome, for the cash app you just sent. I appreciate that. Now, now, James Powell wrote, "I told the people in Smash chat that you were burying the Garfield's Dagger squad. Then one of his mods put me in timeout." It is what it is. Now, brothers and sisters, there's one video that I've been recommending for years. It's a video that I'm the most proud of. It's only 45 minutes long. The original title was Introduction to Kemet. It had 300,000 views when I lost my account in 2016, and I had 9,000 subscribers then. And then I had to start from scratch. And now the video has probably 396,000 views. So the new title now is Kemet and Ma'at Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I think you will like this video. It's only 45 minutes long. It's less than an hour. I'm very proud of that video. Then there is this website for all those who believe the hoax that the Arabs of the 7th century were black, particularly Prophet Muhammad and his family / companions. And I have a very detailed article, and you can see it says Prophet Muhammad's color according to Islamic sources. Because for those who don't know, I don't mean to brag, but Dr. Wesley Muhammad, PhD in Islamic study, has challenged me publicly to a debate. I accepted. We spoke about it. We spoke about the time. It was supposed to be the end of the year. And one day I quoted some non-black people, and he used that as an excuse. And he said, I'm not going to debate him. He's using white people against me. He played the race card. So I'm familiar with the topic, you know. I don't speak Arabic fluently, but I took some classes of Arabic. I know a little something, you know. Now, Sacred Infinite Energy wrote that Jabari is live on Sanera. So, well, you know where to go now, brothers and sisters. You know, you can just move on to Sanera and watch Jabari over there. Oh, of course, yes, our stalwart. Of course, if Jabari doesn't accept this postponed debate, Garfield will claim that Jabari is running, but we're all going to laugh at it. It's only his groupies that's going to pretend that they agree with that. You know, they're I mean, the Hebrews or lights are on survival mode, but the dog squad is they're dead. They're gone. They're gone. It was their burial today, you know. So now, then there's this video entitled Deception of Asiatic Black Men. You will be surprised to find out that 2 white men are the fathers of the Asiatic black men. Can you believe it? The Asiatic black men movement derived from Freemasonry. Yes. So here, with documentation as usual, you know how I get down. So another video, which is less entertaining, because I just show artifacts, and people are not used to watch artifacts. But the Semites were not black. No, the Semites were white, and I demonstrate that in this video, White Semites Black Awakening. All right. I see that Babylon Dawn is in the chat. Then there's this video that I play every now and then. Some people teach that black people are marked and disfigured because we rebelled against God. So here you have the video. Then if you want to see a full hieroglyphic sign list, if you want to see the uniliterals or the quote-unquote Medu alphabet, it's at the bottom of every page of this link right there. But this is the Garden sign list. Many times I tell you about my website. There it is. And if you are a French speaker, then you can remove the /English at the end. But the address is here for all purposes. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. You have the address here, Ma'at Forever, all in one word. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I don't really use Instagram and TikTok, but you might as well add me. Who knows, if I lose my account, then you will know where to find me and have the new address. But make sure that you hit that like button. How many likes do we have right now? 78 likes. Okay, that's very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. You'll be wise to follow me on Twitter, because many people are not notified when I'm live streaming, or even when I upload new videos, even if they have hit that notification bell. And it happens with other channels as well. Sometimes I read the comments and they say, oh, I wasn't notified. And we can understand that YouTube has so many users, it's difficult, for their system to be 100% functional. So usually before I go live, or when I start the live stream, I share it in the chat. I'm sorry, on Twitter, as well as the YouTube timeline. Babylon Dawn, feel free to speak, brother.
How you doing, brother Shaka Ndugu?
I'm chilling. I was honored today with Jabari and Mr. Vegas. How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm doing my best.
Hmm.
What I was gonna say. Um, man, Shaka, it's just a lot going on. I just refuse to really voice what I want to say now. I've been saying a lot in the chat, but because I don't want to, like create too much strife. But it's been a lot going on in the community, and I just don't want to say I told them so. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of fronting, it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of, passing the ball around and buck dancing. And nobody's really like taking accountability or responsibility for the actions. Nobody. And then people say apology. No, accountability, not apology, responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. And then people get angry with me and say, I'm a hater, I'm a this, I'm a that. I've never ever taken anything from the community. And if I ever would, I would make sure that if I didn't come through on my end of the deal, I would never make an excuse for my end of the deal. I know that people paid, so they deserve to be paid back if they don't get what I give them. That's the simple street law. I don't need nobody to tell me. That's just my act forever.
Well,
So
I paid myself, but I'm not going to ask Sanetta for a refund because I can see that it was out of his control, and we still had the presentation. It's not his fault if Jabari, I'm sorry, if Garfield did not show up. So that's my stance. And I will encourage people to take that into consideration. I can understand if some people want to go and ask for some refund, but really, I see all the effort that they've taken with the help of Jabari. And but that being said, like you said, I agree. There's no obligation for an apology, but accountability is, it doesn't hurt to say, okay, my bad, my fault, and that's it. You keep it pushing. And indeed, like, even for those who believe the story told by the female cat, Kitty Energy Garfield, the least he could have done is say, okay, I have this emergency. Can we know? And I mean, the whole thing is fishy from beginning to end, just like his bachelor's degree in history that we still haven't seen. And
I agree.
yeah, but those guys, they still, I mean, the guy said he had millions of dollars. And some people don't know, but he said he has some other degrees on top of bachelor's degrees. But people have pointed out that he said that he dropped out of school. And he was also a bodyguard for Spike Lee, and he was a student of his biblical history for 30 years, and he spent time in the Nation of Islam. I mean, he did it all.
Yeah,
And he was doing
according
credit
to that
repairs.
story.
He did it all. He's been around, and he was also apparently, allegedly,
Yeah.
Chief X said it into music. So he was in the studio. So I'm like, man, well, he had a very filled life. I mean, people can go and listen to what Chief X had to say. That's quite interesting, because some people, indeed, you never see them. We don't know. But I'm not trying to get into people's personal life like that. But some things are just fishy. I'm, and
Yeah.
we've seen what our brother Osam did. He
What?
proposed.
I
I
didn't.
asked for his degree. It took him less than what? Less than 1 minute,
Oh
was it?
yeah,
Do I
yeah,
still have the
yeah.
stuff
Okay,
on?
yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Yes, 40,
yeah,
43 seconds. I still have the stuff up. You see, 43
yeah.
seconds. Why can't Garfield show? He's hiding something. I think he has a Photoshop degree. That's what I think he has. Somebody in the chat wrote that he has a degree in scamming. But
I mean,
there
but
will always be. I just
go
want to
ahead,
say
Shaka.
this.
I won't
There,
forget.
there will always be drama when you're dealing with a scammer. But go ahead, Babylon Done.
I was just gonna say I appreciate you beating up the point and beating the dead horse right there. Yes, do it. Do it to them because they will do it to you. You see what I'm saying? And they'll do it
Mm,
to anybody.
mm,
So they get what they deserve. I mean
mm.
that for real. They live by the sword, they die by the sword.
And
So,
and
but I
mhm,
also
good.
want to say this, Shaka. is that, you know, like, I know I'm a tiny voice in the community, but it don't mean that people should walk on the tiny voice or walk on the tiny person like they ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? For real, like sometimes the tiny voice be saying something important though, and they be telling the truth, but don't nobody listen. So I just found it ironic though that the show was based on, is Christianity stolen from Kemet? After, you know, I just did a whole post and just was talking about that. Then I find it ironic that they do a show on Mary Magdalene is the wife of Christ or Jesus. Now, I don't know nobody teaching that doctrine. I really don't. Like question where these topics coming from. Like who when did, you know, like certain people even get privy to this kind of knowledge, especially like Sarnetta. For real. Just be honest. Like think about the titles now. Think about the title like science and religion. Like that's my topic all over
But
my
it's
page.
possible.
Wait, Shaka. I just want
It's
to say this.
possible.
I know you gotta do public thing, but I ain't gonna say nothing bad. I'm
No, I
just
said it's
saying that,
possible. I
yeah,
said it's
I'm
possible.
just
Yes.
yeah, I'm just saying that I do topics on science and religion, saying that science is bogus and religion is bogus, both of them bogus. Now, that's the thing. STEM, that's the thing. Now he got shows and topics on this all over the internet. So, but now do you find ironic or funny that I can't get an interview? I was in New York in Manhattan on 125th Street, right next to them, and still couldn't get an interview. I'm a brother in the community. I have never stole anything. I'm not violent or nothing. I don't do nothing wrong in the community. Only thing I want is an interview and a voice on the show like everybody else and be able to speak my piece.
But did
But
you
that,
ask that to Sanetta?
bro, I didn't email talk to Sarnetta on his show 1,000 times. Each time he said in the public, yeah, but he don't do nothing. I don't even want no interview at this point with him. That's what I'm saying. That ain't the point. The point is that it went on for this long. The point is that they frauds and they say one thing to the public and then do another thing to people behind closed doors that they think don't have a voice. And that's all I'm saying. And I done heard many people say it, so I'm just speaking for me, myself, and the
I wouldn't
people
say Sanetta
that
is a
don't have a
fraud.
voice.
You know, I wouldn't say he's a fraud, but I know you're a regular on his channel.
No,
With the
no,
emails
I'm
I've
not.
sent it. Yeah, I see you. I see you many times. I see you several times on Sanetta's channel on
No,
Sanetta
maybe
Studios.
in the recent past couple of months, I've been over there because I went back over there talking to Sarnetta, and
Mm.
as I saw that he still treated me the same, that when I went on Uncle Keck channel, they won't let me talk. They cut me off. They kicked me off the show for no reason. I went on Garfield channel. Garfield said to me straight up live. He said, "Nope, I'm not having him on the show. I don't want him on here. I
He
ain't
doesn't want
listening to nothing."
anybody that disagree with him. That's for sure.
Yeah,
You know.
but Unc did the
But
same thing. Unc did the same thing. Sarnetta did the same thing.
um,
I was on there
but
talking on Sarnetta. I was on there talking on Sarnetta just the other day. Sarnetta came on there and said, no, 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 no. We don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Click,
well,
boot me off
you
the
know,
show. Wait,
well,
hold up. Out the whole show, nobody got booted but me. Out the whole Unc show, nobody got booted but me. Out the whole Garfield show, nobody got booted but me.
mm. Well, in this case, what I would suggest is, try to build your own platform, and eventually
Yeah,
some people will come on your platform and eventually recommend you. I mean, Nepal, um, Nepal Shada,
I like her.
when I got on his channel the first time, um, she started saying that she had recommended me to Sanetta like a year ago or 2 years ago. I don't know, like a year ago or so. So maybe somebody's gonna, maybe her or somebody else. I know she likes you, so
Yeah.
just try to keep doing your thing. Once again, I started my website 18 years ago. In April, it will be 19 years ago. So sometimes it takes time,
Congratulations.
to be acknowledged. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, but you see, everybody will not be a guest on Tanetta Studios. So it's like, just keep doing your thing, and I love what I do. I don't mind being on some large platform and being recognized. It's always better. But even if I'm not, I'm still doing what I do because I love what
Oh,
I do and I love sharing information.
I know you're a great researcher, right, Shaka? And I heard you. I take your advice, brother. I really do. I take your advice and I take it wholeheartedly. I mean that. I mean, I'm for real. Because I teach that, I'm not here to tear down another man's matrix. I'm here to build my own Zion. So I teach myself that. So I'm not here to tear them down. But I am here to state publicly what they do wrong towards me. If they steal my commercial property or my intellectual property, and then they do shows and make money off of it, but then block me and blackball me from the very same platform that they're using my information on, I feel like that's disingenuous, since that's their latest song.
I don't know
And
if you
then,
can really say intellectual property,
okay,
but
now I want to say this. Let me show you an example. I'm gonna give you an example, a hardcore example. You can look up the word gravity. You will not find related to the word gravity, the words levity, buoyancy. You will not find these words related. Centripetal, centrifugal. Now, but if you play back Unc's video, their last video on STEM, Unc and Q Butter, and Q Butter is my homeboy. I love this dude. But he mentioned buoyancy. Cedric mentioned buoyancy. Unc mentioned levity. They all mentioned it. That's my stuff. This stuff that I came up. Hold on. I know it's mine because I come up with it.
Yes.
I'm saying it's new for me. So how can I show? I can show you. I can show you this and that I teach this. That I'm teaching this.
But it's a reality that sometimes we are inspired with one another. Like, for example, but it's good to say, okay, I got this from that person, or I was watching that person's platform. For example, Hezekiah Sear. It was Chris Harris MVP. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, dude, that's news to me. And it's like, you didn't know? I'm like, no. And now I have it, as part of my intro. Now it might not say in the intro that I got it from him, but I've said it many times. So, but sometimes some people will watch something that you say, some of your material, some of your video or article, and they will be inspired. They will want to touch on that subject, on that topic. I did the Medu Nature class on Sanada Studios, and a few days after, a couple of weeks, 1 week or two after, somebody else did the Medu Nature class, but I'm like, hey, it's cool. It is what it is, so I'm not going to trip on that. But this happens actually, and even we did like, for example, you have some large platform people who will do pranks or different videos. Like they might do the gold digger pranks, and others will do the gold digger pranks and pranks, between partners, and they get inspiration, or sometimes, yes, it comes with the territory, but
And I know, Shaka, I ain't got nothing else to say on that topic, but that's just me, bro. That's just me doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to do my best to speak the truth as I know it and see it. And so that's all I got to say on the subject. But one day, I'm with Professor Dr. Walter Williams on this thing now, just to let you know. Just to let you know. And I don't have the same argument that they got, Shaka. My argument, I'm a linguist. So my argument is linguistic, mathematics, you know what I'm saying? Logic, like that.
You're studying linguistics. I don't know if you can say that you are a linguist.
Like, I don't think nobody can say that anything, and I don't think that words can define me. So however a person want to take it, they can take it that way. I myself, I am a linguist. I don't just study language. I invent language. I invented my own language, my own meta language to the proto language that you speak. Wow. I am a linguist. Now that's what I'm saying. Like, our people don't recognize our people. When our people say something, I mean, just like with Garfield. Now he needs to produce this document
because he claimed that he has it. Yes,
and I agree. Now, what would I have to produce?
Well, you would have to be recognized by your peers. You would have to have some peer review work.
Okay, let me give you an example though. I heard you. Now watch this. My peers. Now let's say like the situation I just told you about with the peers that I just told you about. What if my peers blackball me and whiteball me? What if the same thing I'm doing over here, mathematically and linguistically, they whiteball me and blackball me? What if it's that my peers don't want my
But when I say
information?
peers, you know, I mean people in the field of
Not
linguistics,
not
right?
not making no excuse, huh?
You know, when I say peers, I mean people in the linguistics field. That's what I
Yeah,
mean.
but I just gave you two comparisons. I said, what if my peers, like I just told you about, in the conscious community, or my peers in the university community, what if they both are blackballing or whiteballing me because of the information is contradictory to what they teach?
Well, you might call it blackballing. It might be that they have rejected what you have presented. You see, Brother Nejanebi studying linguistics formally at the university, and he explained that he got his papers were rejected several times, and it comes with the territory. You have to just make it better and resubmit until eventually it is accepted. So there are different journals. You know, if one journal rejects your paper, then you can try other journals as well. You know.
I mean, right now I am working with the University of Arizona. I don't want to seem like I'm counter the university, but I just want to say that the university is counter what I'm talking about and what I'm doing, bro.
Well,
You
maybe
got to
maybe try
understand.
maybe
Wait,
try another university, but
you got wait, but
maybe
let me say this.
maybe
You got to
studying in the
understand.
field might be a good idea because that's
Yeah,
what
you
I
got
decided to do. It's not an obligation, but I decided to study in the field of Egyptology formally, and I was so surprised to see that Osayamka went that route already. We have the same professor actually. You know, it's the same
so
university.
you know the symposium that Sheikh Anti Diop did.
Of course, 1974. Most of
Yeah,
us know about.
so you familiar with the symposium? I know. I'm saying you know the symposium. I guess it was a rhetorical question, but
Yes.
you know the symposium that Sheikh Anti Diop did. Well, in that symposium, it took forever. He was completely rejected. They called him pseudo. They said his research was worthless. It wasn't even worth looking at. Everything. It wasn't a matter of him presenting something different or doing better. It was a matter of him getting recognition and being acknowledged for his work. Some people at that level.
But that wasn't at the symposium. It was before. It was before the symposium when he presented his thesis. But you know, by London, it's gonna be 2 a.m. and I work tomorrow morning. You know, I do the 9 to 5.
Yeah,
So if you don't mind,
I
we can
know.
always continue discussion at some other
I
time.
always come on last because like I don't like getting into the whole thing. I just rather talk to you one
I
on
understand.
one. I don't want
Yeah.
to go back and forth with the brothers like that because I know what I'm saying is too
Mhm.
controversial, and you actually listen to all that I said. So I thank you, Shaka and
You're
Duga
welcome,
brother,
brother Elder.
and I vibe you and your family. Have a great, this ain't the new year, but whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
Peace, bro.
Peace to you.
All
Thank
right,
you very much, brother Elder Babylon Dunn. Appreciate you,
peace,
brother.
bro.
Now, well, brothers and sisters, it's been a good 3 hours. I want to thank, I almost forgot, um, Ralph for the cash app you have sent, and also Jaron for the cash app you have sent. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Oh, EB is there. Well, EB, go ahead. EB, how you doing, brother?
Man, peace, brother. I just got in the house and I got a text from the other brother, well, email. So y'all about to get off the line or what? What's going on? What's the topic?
Yeah, I was about to get off the line, but feel free, to make some closing remarks. Feel free.
Oh no,
Because
you
it's
know it's
it's it's it's it's, it's gonna be 2 a.m. and I work tomorrow, but this morning, and so, but I'm glad you're here. Feel free to if you want to say a few
yeah, I
words
got it.
before I close out.
Yeah, I'm about to
But we,
finish
we,
my
we had Jabari and we had Mr. Vegas. I don't know if you're familiar with Mr. Vegas, the dancehall artist.
no, I think I heard of his
Heads
name, but
high, killing with the knowledge. But
oh
anyway,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just getting to the crib. I seen like I said, I got the email and then I heard that y'all was live and I seen Saw was on there with Jabari and Yara, so I'm probably peeking in on them, see what's up.
Mhm.
But what you studying lately, bro? What you been
Oh my
working on?
goodness. I've received the etymological dictionary of Greek by Robert Bix. I've shared the picture of my timeline, and it's 2 volumes. So
Okay.
that's helpful, to show to our people that we have some middle natural words that we still use to this day that pass through the Greek. And well, I have just too many books to show. It's like, I have like I've been saying that I have like 30 books on my desk, but I might have 40 by now. I just received that one today. But
Yeah, I wanted to see
text.
if you know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. This is good. Feel free, feel free.
No, I'm looking for this book I had at the crib.
Hmm.
Let me see if you are you familiar with this brother right here?
Uh, who's the author? Supreme Understanding. That's probably a 5% of it. No, I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, I was just something I had from back in the day. But I was gonna ask you about this. What I do with it? It's Elijah Muhammad writings. But hey, this is what I wanted to ask too. Now that I got to the crib, why don't people talk about this brother right here?
Oh, people have been talking about him. That's J.A. Rogers. Yes, people have been talking about. I haven't read him yet, but many times. I mean, many times. Every now and then, people talk about him. Yes.
Yeah, I just don't hear it a lot. I know a lot of brothers they talk about Dr. Ben and John Henry
It's
Clark.
true. It's true. People, it would
You
be
know,
mentioned less than Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, but I can assure you that a fair bit of people, and it's more the elder generation, the older generation that mentions him.
oh, okay, cool. What you think about the debate with Jabari?
Oh, well, he was supposed to be a debate, but he ended up being a presentation. Garfield didn't show, and I've been telling to people that Garfield is a neophyte. He came up with some excuse that I don't believe, and many other people don't believe, and now they try to act like if we don't believe what he said, then we are wrong, we are heartless, we are haters. But that narrative doesn't work. And now I've learned today, and that's why I made this live stream, that Garfield is talking about rescheduling. I mean, you don't reschedule something that didn't take place, and
Oh,
so it looks like what they are going to try to say is, well, because Jabari did not, accept, then he's running, which is laughable. I mean, nearly everybody said the same thing, the same points. If something happens, the least you do is you inform the organizer and
oh
your
yeah,
opponent.
you
Yeah,
got just like when I go to work. When I had an emergency
exactly.
when my kids were smaller.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I done had to call. Tell somebody, my bosses or somebody. I gotta
That's
go.
that's how it is. You don't wait over an hour after the scheduled time before you try to I mean, he said he was ready. He was ready and he waited. I mean, it's, most of the stuff he says fishy, but it reminds me of him claiming that he has a bachelor's degree in history that he has never shown. It reminds me him saying that he received millions of dollars, and I mean, it's just he always has some claims that he never backs up. So I don't believe him. Other people don't believe him because even if, and I mean, somebody stealing, we don't know what, and they're
Yeah,
going to do some sort of sting operation, that's unheard of to me. I'm saying, like I said, unless you have diamonds or kilos of cocaine or heroin, maybe. But if your purse gets snatched, I never heard of them doing a sting operation. But even if that actually happened, all you had to do is, hey, I have an emergency with the family. Can we reschedule? He was scared, and that's it. He's not going to admit publicly, I was scared, so I chickened out. But everybody can see that's what happened. And that excuse of the scheduled time, like I said earlier, we spoke with the other brothers. So Sam Carr practice Muay Thai, and I've been to some Muay Thai tournaments, and sometimes we enter the premise an hour after the scheduled time. Sometimes it starts 2 hours or more
yeah,
after the scheduled time. You're supposed to make yourself available because you don't know how long the question and answers will last. I mean, I don't bite. I don't bite. He has some grown men groupies who go along with his narrative. I think he probably paid some of them or offered them or promised them some benefits somehow, some way. So they're pushing the narrative. And at the end of the day, even if he doesn't offer them or propose anything, since many of them are Christian apologists, they're on a mission. They have an ideology that they are defending, and so they are just rolling with it. But no, we're not impressed by that. We're not impressed by that. I mean, for him to have the nerves to blame Jabari and Sanetta. Besides, it was said, I haven't heard it from myself, but some brothers said that he stated that he doesn't trust Sanetta. But he's been
Oh,
calling Sanetta his brother for I don't know how many years. So it shows his character, He's just fishy, and I don't care how much he may hate me. I'm sorry. I've been talking about stuff that he said publicly. So we don't have the Christian mindset, the Christian mentality of you said something and I believe you. I take it for face. I take what you say for face value. That doesn't work anymore. And that doesn't work with us. No, I'm sorry. That's just too fishy from A to Z. No, doesn't add up at all.
Yeah, I was disappointed. But yeah, like I said, I'm just getting in the crib. I'm give me a bite to eat and do a little reading and probably check in on see what's going on with Saab. But that's it, brother. I'll probably just get back with y'all tomorrow, son, bro.
All right. Well, I don't know when I will live stream next, but they might give me something to talk about again. But I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for calling in.
All right, bro. Salute.
Yeah, salute, brother. All right, brothers and sisters. Now we have Chefren in the place to be. So it was a very good stream. We have 33 people right now. The age of Jesus Christ at his death. And if I want to be metaphysic with it, it's just a sign. Because right now we dealt with the death and burial of Garfield's Dagger squad. And it's so ironic once again that Rabon kept saying Kemet is dead, but who died? Now we have the Hebrew servant, but there's no webcam, so I'm sorry, and just so people can see, there is no webcam. Oh, here's a webcam. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I was just leaving my house. I didn't even know it was off.
All right. We
How are
spoke
you?
before, have we? Have we spoken before? No. No.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm fine. Feel free to speak. Try to make it brief, please, because
Oh, you're leaving?
I was about to close out, but I want to give you a chance to
Okay.
say a word or two.
Well, how are you, sir? How are you today?
Oh, I'm chilling. How about yourself?
Very good, very good. And everyone else, well, who was there. But so yes, Mr. Shaka, I have a question for you, really.
No need for the mister.
Huh?
No need for the mister.
Oh, all right. Shaka. So just a quick question. So if you look at the other nation, well, so I've been doing some research on our people, and it seems like we were everywhere. Do you disagree with that, or?
Depends what time period. I hear the argument many times
Okay.
that we were first on the planet Earth, so we have to be everywhere. But I'm going to let you ask a question, but I think you're going to ask me about the ethnicity
Yes.
of the Hebrews. But yeah,
Sure. So it seems like we were everywhere in the past, and when I say we, but she's not mixed with anything. She's just very light.
Brother, can you come again, because it was breaking up? You were going in and out, and I think if you look at the live stream, you will see that I'm not making this up. So and now you're frozen, and I don't hear you anymore. And if people don't mind stating it in the chat so the brother can see. Oh, now it looks. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. But you're always welcome. We can talk about. I think he was going to talk about ethnicity of the Hebrews, but what I'm stating and arguing is that the inhabitants of Canaan were white skin. Oh, his brother's back. Okay. Feel free, brother. Feel free.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay, let me try to make it short. Okay, so it seemed like we were everywhere, and the more I researched, the more I realized, wow, we were everywhere. So one of the places we were that no one in academia seems to be talking about, and when I say academia, I mean like in schools and colleges, universities, is the Mesoamerica. So there are lots of brothers in the United States who are discussing this now. Shout out to them, like the Unconscious one, et cetera, et cetera. I like his channel. But if you go to Mexico, for example, you will see that our people left images of how they looked. And the ancient Mayan, the ancient Aztecs, that's what they call them. I'm not sure if that's how they call themselves.
Yes, Mayan, Aztecs, indeed.
Yeah. So if you look at the murals in Peru, in Brazil, in mostly Mexico, you'll see that they had dreads like us. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is our people. But not only that, I saw many things like the headwear. The headwear that the women were wearing was very similar to what my lady likes to wear. You know, she's from Cape Verde, and you know, she likes to wear this head thing, and it was very similar to what the Mesoamericans were wearing. So it's just very interesting that we were, you know, on the face of it, everywhere. So I just find it interesting that we tend. One of the brothers earlier was saying, "Why should we separate ourselves?" I believe he's from Liberia. He was saying, why are we separating ourselves like that? And even with the creed on all these, do you think we should have, you know, one umbrella? You know what I mean? Yes, different people from different places, different beliefs, but one umbrella where we come to say, listen, this was us. Now let's discuss the details. Instead of, we're not Africans. For example, I don't believe I'm African. But I may have been. I don't know. But my parents never talked about it. My grandparents never talked about it. No one in my heritage talked about it.
If you don't mind, try to get to the point, please. You know, it's
I asked
2
you.
a.m. right
I
now.
was asking you a question. I was asking you a question. I asked, should we have one umbrella where we say, listen, we are all from these places, and now let's discuss the details. That way we don't fight each other.
Well, no, we should not fight each other, regardless. I'm not convinced that the Aztecs and Mayans were black people, and I think that what you label dreadlocks might be like so many Indians, just hair plaited or braided. Now the Olmec heads is something that people argue. I think they are more of the uh, Ma, the Maori tribe, you know, the people, the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I think it's that type of people because just like people in Tahiti, well, Tahiti is a French, Hawaii, you know, Hawaii, you will see some people with kind of full lips and kind of broad nose. So I think that if they were carved on stone, then that's what they would look like. But who knows? Maybe they were black people. But when it comes to the Mayan and the Aztecs, we do have paintings indeed. But I don't feel like those are black people. I think it's just, you know, like you said, Mesoamericans, you know, Native Americans, Indians, Mistoma Indian, because, you know, this obviously not India, but we know the story, you know, Columbus thought that he was in India. So that would be my take, you know. But since, you know, because I saw Hebrew servant, I thought you were going to ask me about Canaan. But chronology is important. So sometimes people say, well, you know, who are everywhere, and they might say 10,000 BC, 30,000 BC, but I don't deal with those kind of dates. But have you ever seen the standard of Ur? The standard of
What is
Ur?
it?
The standard of Ur. Let me just show you.
No.
So um, I'll show you that one. A lot of people are not familiar with that one. So I couldn't see, or some maybe if you see that part, if you can put the name, because I didn't know how to spell it. You mentioned Ramesses and Hattuselis or something like that. But here, standard of Ur is spelled UR, standard
Okay.
of Ur, and this is the British Museum. This is the second link. The first link is Wikipedia. So here it is. I'm going to share the link in the chat so everybody can see it. Now, here, why is it not appearing? Every time you want to show something. I'm going to refresh the page. I don't know what's going on. This isn't available yet. Okay, there it is.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I've seen you shown that before.
all right, okay. So for the record, you have the museum on the reference, basically the museum number. We have the date here. This is 2500 BC. So this is what the inhabitants of Ur or Chaldea look like. They depicted themselves on this box. So this is where Abraham is said to come from. And in my video, White Semites Black Awakening, you have the link in the description of my video. I show inhabitants of the Levant, Mesopotamia, Sumer, Akkad, Canaan, and maybe I have a few about Arabia as well. And their phenotype is constantly the same. It's a Caucasoid phenotype. So that's why I argue that from 2500 BC until modern time, the inhabitants of these areas were not Negroid or not black, but they were actually white-skinned Caucasoids.
Okay.
But
So
many.
so
Yes, go ahead.
so
Go ahead.
I have a question regarding that.
Yeah.
Two questions. First, do you
Well,
see Northeast?
I would take just one last question if you don't
One
mind,
question.
because
One question. Yes.
it's 2 a.m.
One
I'm
last
in
question.
France and it's 2 a.m. and I have to
One
work.
last
So,
question.
yeah.
One last question. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you accept that Northeast, that the so-called Middle East,
Hmm.
formed by the British Empire during the time of their rule, is actually Northeast Africa?
Well, no, because others could argue that Spain is Northwest Africa as well, or at least the bottom part of Spain. But today, worldwide, in academia, in science, this area is not considered to be part of Africa, is considered to be part of Asia. Now, if people want to say, okay, they are wrong, it is part of Africa, I'm like, okay, but what do the inhabitants look like? The inhabitants definitely don't look black. Like,
Wait, you're referring to the current inhabitants or the original inhabitants?
well, the current, now the original, we don't have their depictions because that would be very ancient. But when we have depictions like the Standard of War and also the painting from Beni Hassan, where we see some Canaanites, we can clearly see that they look more or less the same as they look today. Like DJ Khaled type of people, like our brother Ngozi loves to say, the king of Saudi Arabia, his family, and I'm aware that some people claim, but yeah, but you have some indigenous tribes here and there, but
Well, I mean, you can't so there. I'm sorry. There, it's not a question. There was a documentary done by one of our Hebrew brothers. You could still find it on YouTube, where he actually went down into the land to communicate with the original people who were there prior to people coming in, prior to colonization, prior to conquest. And a lot of these people who are original look like you and me, and they're still there, and they still have land that has existed from generation to generation prior to any conquest of the Europeans or any other Caucasoid looking like person. So have
but
you
who said
ever
who
gone
said
have
who
you
said
have you ever gone have you ever gone to underground or done any further research to kind of like disprove what you see as the original inhabitants?
but who said they are original?
I'm sorry, the
Who
people
said
who
that
live
those?
there, the people who live
Okay,
there.
so they claim that they are original. They can claim that because some people have a religion, so they will claim that they come from that place. But I don't think that people who deal with anthropology ever said that those people are original.
So
It's easy to.
have you done any research to disprove that? Do you have any
Well,
sources that?
in order for me to disprove something, the information would need to be presented to me, because you have some black people, for example, who are Muslims and they claim to be descendant of Prophet Muhammad
No.
because they.
I'm sorry. My apologies. I'm not talking about religion. I'm speaking about just um,
Well,
nationality
when I
and
talk about
heritage.
Prophet Muhammad, you could say it's religion, but since many people believe that he existed, so they claim to descend from a historical Muhammad, you see. So sometimes
Okay.
people do that because they have a religion, they have a belief system, they want to put themselves in the mix, so they will claim that they are descendant from so and so. There is a video from Iran on YouTube. I've seen it years ago. So, and it's a black man in Iran, and then the person who put the video or share the video was saying, okay, look, this is like an indigenous inhabitants of Iran. There's so few left. And I'm like, okay, well, okay. I mean, I can show some black people in Russia as well. That's not convincing at all. So,
Well, actually,
uh,
Russia. To your point, Russia. There's a book called Russian Icons. Have you heard of that book?
uh,
It's
I'm
like
not sure because,
$12,000.
well, yeah, but some. But are you trying to say that the inhabitants, the indigenous inhabitants of Russia, were black people?
No. What I'm trying to say is,
Okay.
Russians, they have this depiction of what Moshe looked like. so-called JC look like. You know, the pictorials of the
that's
biblical characters.
but that's fake, right?
What do you mean?
You know that any depiction of Moses will be fake. Do you know that? Do you
Well,
realize that?
well, my point, the point I'm trying to make is, if you look at the region in which the biblical, if let's just put aside whether or not the Bible is real or not, if you look at the
I'm not talking
depiction,
about the Bible. I'm talking about Moses.
but right, that's my point. So if you look at, because that's where they get it from, right, the Bible. So if you look at it from the biblical text, based on where it's positioned in Scripture, that's Africa. And at that time, the Russians didn't seem to have an issue depicting the people of that place as African, since
Okay, all right.
that's,
Okay, let's do this.
so this is just
Hold
an
on, please,
yeah.
if you don't mind, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
This depiction that you mentioned. Now I see you in your car, so maybe you cannot share it and show us.
Yeah.
But is this a painting?
It's a painting, it's a depiction.
All right. Okay.
For example, the Pope.
So hold on. It's a painting made by the Russians.
Yes.
And
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's Russian. I'm pretty sure it's Russian.
All right, okay.
But I can't.
Well, it's a painting. It's a painting that supposedly shows Moses. Now, do you agree that this has to be fake? Because there's no painting from the lifetime of Moses.
No. I'm not. So I think we're talking about two things here. I'm not saying the painting is real or fake. What I'm trying to say is they were depicted, the characters were depicted as people from that particular land. Like I said, Northeast Africa is the so-called Middle East, right? That's what I subscribe to, and I have proof for that. And it seems that at the time, whoever the Russians were at the time, because Russia has existed for a very long time, didn't have an issue with presenting these people, based on who these people were at the time in Northeast Africa, who were very black.
When you say at the time, what time period is it? It doesn't have to be to the year, but more or
No.
less.
I will admit to you right now, I don't know the dates.
But what's for sure, it's safe to say that it is not contemporaneous, not even give and take 100 or 200 years, because it would have been known. We would have known, okay, we have a very ancient depiction of Moses. But if someone wants to argue, okay, this took place in Africa, in Egypt, the narrative, if we go by the narrative, it was the population of Hebrews, and the Hebrews will be Canaanites. We have depiction of Canaanites. Have you ever seen the painting from Beni Hassan?
No, sir.
I can show you, and this one is very important. Now, I'm going to put Beni Hassan. I think it's the tomb of Khnum-Hotep. So Beni Hassan Canaanites. When you go to images, Beni Hassan is spelled like this: B-E-N-I and then space H-A-S-S-A-N. So this is the reproduction that we see most of the time, but the original is here. And you have several different pictures, and actually I like to show the one, that one is larger. There it is. So here we have the Egyptians. We can tell by their skin tone and their dress, and those are the Canaanites. Now I'm going to pick another one so we can see the title in hieroglyphic, the name. I'm looking for the original. Well, no, hold on. Oh, there it is. So here we do have the Egyptian in the front and one of those Canaanites, and this says Heka Chesed. And Heka Chesed or Heka Chasut is a Middle Natural term that became Hyksos in Greek. So the Encyclopedia Britannica, if you type in Hyksos, spelled Hyksos, it would tell you that those are of Palestinian descent. And I have a video in the British Museum, and it says also that the Hyksos are of Palestinian descent. So that's why I argue that the Canaanites were actually white skin, because we see it in the painting of Beni Hassan.
Okay, I understand that. So, do you subscribe to the fact that, or do you give credence to some of the articles that were written out there, like for example in Forbes, on I I'm not sure where else, but there's a lot of whitewashing. Have you ever heard of whitewashing?
I've heard of whitewashing, but a lot of time people will claim that the artifacts that are presented are whitewashed and or that they are fake because
No,
it
no, no.
doesn't suit their narrative.
Not in terms of claims. In terms of actual fact that this did happen. Like there were scientists, archaeologists, or people who worked for them who literally go to these sites and paint them over in different colors to represent themselves. Have you looked into any sources regarding that?
Well, we have some maybe not videos, but we have some pictures. They do restoration work, and when they do restoration work, sometimes they will paint over the artifacts. But if somebody wants to
But you
argue,
admit it
okay,
does happen, right? But you admit you admit it happens.
well, I've seen some pictures where we can see them
But
doing that.
you haven't done any research into it
Research like what?
to see that indeed that our images were glossed over to made to look white, so that
Well,
our ancient history does
I don't
not
argue.
exist anymore. I mean,
I don't.
have you
I
looked
don't
into that?
agree.
Have you looked into it?
Let me tell you why I don't agree. Because over the years, I've been going to many different museums in several different countries, and I've filmed some artifacts from Kemet, from ancient Egypt, and they are actually black skin, dark brown. The older they are, usually the blacker they are. And what we normally see on book covers, on documentaries, are the depictions of the Greeks, the era that we call the late period, which is about 400 BC. But we do have plenty, and actually, and I'm glad that I can show you that one. If I put Louvre, there we go, Louvre Museum, Amenhotep III, that's actually my background profile picture.
Okay. Okay.
So here, and I put it in the chat just in case if you want to have it later on. But this is Amenhotep III. This is Akhenaten's father. This is King Tut's grandfather. And so if they were doing that so much, then they will probably would have done it for him as well. And we can clearly see his phenotype, even though people argue that this is not his hair, that this is some sort of headdress or crown, we can still see not only his skin tone, but the shape of his nose and the shape of his lips. And there are plenty of other depictions that are more or less similar to this one, because people think that it's a one-off. But once again, over the years, I've been going to many different museums, and I have plenty of depictions of Black ancient Egyptians. I actually have a video called Black Ancient Egyptians Part 1 and Black Ancient Egyptians Part 2. So that's why I don't agree. I don't believe that they went and whitewash all the depictions.
Right. But now my sir, with all due respect, you're using the word belief. You're I don't think you're someone who subscribes to belief, because you deal with facts. But and I'll leave at this point. But do you think this is somewhere you might look into to at least open up your mind to the possibilities of seeing some proof that indeed many of our past was whitewashed?
Well, people need to present the evidence, because in this case, it means that every time I will show paintings of Canaanites, and they will obviously be white as they are for the most part, and then someone will say, "Oh, but that's because they whitewashed them." What evidence do we have that it was whitewashed? In
But
this
my
case,
question is, my question is, would you be willing to at least look into it?
I'm willing to look into anything that's presented, but
Okay.
it has to come from reliable sources.
And last, is your idea of a reliable source European?
No, because we have museums around the world, and the museums are not all controlled by Europeans. Science doesn't have any color. We have Black, Chinese, Indian historians, archaeologists, anthropologists. So no, my idea of reliable is not European at all.
Okay, that's fair. Awesome, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I wish I could talk more. You're really great.
Some other time, you're free to come on the plan.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes, and to you. Peace.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, well, this time I'm really gonna wrap this up. I'm not gonna take any more callers. We have 30. Well, it was 29, but now it's 33 again. Isn't this a sign This is the age of Jesus Christ when he died, according to the biblical narrative, of course. And we were talking about the burial of Garfield's Dagger squad. So, 33 is a number that, can remind of death, but it's not the end, because according to that narrative, there was a resurrection, so the squad might resurrect under a different form, a kitty form, female cat form, who knows, anthropomorphic form, we might be nice and say it's not Hello Kitty, it's Bast, as they say in Black Panther, or Bastet, as they used to say in Kemet. They'll choose, they come up with some way. They will reinvent themselves. But I will end now by saying, as I usually do, stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to by the Nechelu, I will definitely holler back at you. Don't argue, I state facts. If you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Do I to do a Nechelu? Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Meta Nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Meta Nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neture class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel.
on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/maatforever.